Well, back to one. My name's Beast. Today we're back with Grisaia. We're
After an
fine.
absence.
We're finally out of the forest. You know what that means? We don't have to drink to numb the pain anymore.
I think we still will.
Yeah, we can burn the woods down now.
Now we drink to forget the pain.
Exactly.
Apart from me, who's eating to forget the pain right now while I'm eating as a sandwich.
But yeah, I don't like this. I just opened a can of cider. I was not actually planning on getting this. I was entirely happy with just having my red mead, like cherry mead. But after I went out of the shop with that, because while my mother went shopping into like another, I went ahead to the drinks, to like the specific like drink kiosk, because I was trying to see if they had more Suntory double lemon, but alas, that was sadly a limited time thing that they only had because headquarters just randomly sent it to them like, hey, here, go put it in your shop. So it isn't actual inventory. But yeah, afterwards she told me like, oh yeah, I saw this and decided to buy one. And it's just like, I mean, I saw it as well and held back, but thanks. I don't know why, but the fucking hot, like the hot wings from Burger King in Germany, they're really fucking hot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to remember that.
Anyways, even after those revelations, there haven't been any major changes in my life with Amane. The only real difference that comes to mind, Amane calmed down in the the only real differences that come to mind, Amane's calmed down in the physical clinginess, and I've started to notice subtle shifts in her emotions. From what Skaki tells me, this had been going on frequently even before now, but when something happy or fun happens, Amane tends to get a slightly brooding look on her face. Now that I understand these signs of her self-reproach and guilt for what they are, I admonish her, you're allowed to smile. Sometimes I'll try to order her to do so. And although I know she's still thinking a cowardly insect like me has no right to be happy, she always manages to give me a sweet, artful smile in response. Amane once told me I had a crappy excuse for a smile, and now I understand why she saw through it so easily. She's a far more experienced master of the forced smile. Might sound like a joke, but it seems that Takizuna Private Academy actually had formal lessons on how to push your face into an elegant smile. Kazuki had always been even worse at smiling than I was. Imagining her desperately trying to contort her face into a friendly simper is absurdly amusing.
I have to do that for work.
I thankfully don't. Then again, I'm like not that bad when it just comes to friendly interaction with a person when they need some help with anything.
Yeah, you meet all sorts of people in the retail sector. I've met one person who'd helped design nuclear submarines.
Like I've thankfully never been confronted with a troublesome customer.
I have a few times.
Hey, I'm
But like many awkward moments, they pass.
Yeah. Pass away, possibly. Hey, I'm
Finish with them.
Tell me something. That smiling lesson or whatever. I assume Kazuki participated in it as well.
どうだろう。私 D 組だったから A 組の和樹とは授業が一緒になることはなかったし。
Just thinking about it makes you laugh. Kazuki curtsying politely in time to the teacher's piano with a beaming smile on her face. I think I'd pay money to see that.
確かに。っていうか、和樹のそんな姿を見たら逆に笑えないような気もするけどね。
Come to think of it, when Kazuki was still a grade schooler, I did see her practicing her smile once.
え、嘘？あの和樹が？
Not sure when this was exactly, but Kazuki came to deliver something I'd forgotten to my classroom. A classmate came up to me afterwards and asked me about her. Why is your big sister always so cranky? In this kind of scared little voice. Of course, I said that's just normal for her. And when I returned home, I told Kazuki, one of the kids in my class thinks you're kind of scary. Guess it was a little bit of a shock even for her. She started practicing her smile in front of the mirror after her bath. Funny, right?
そう だね。
You're allowed to smile yourself, you know, or even laugh.
わかってる。もう笑って話せる時期だってのはわかってるんだけどね。
They're just on a date in the fucking town, and suddenly someone like, oh hey, it's the some dude just throws up, hey wait, it's the cockroach. Like, before he even finishes saying cockroach, he's just fucking flat on the ground. Fucking bleeding nose. Piss off.
If you want to call her a cockroach, then you, sir, are the cock.
Talking about bleeding nose. I'm now in Penacony in Honkai Star Rail. And those of you, and KR is playing Abiotic Factor, and those of you who know that one cutscene when you arrive at your room for the first time, and Aventurine, or whatever his fucking name was, is just in there, like, yeah, the fucking cutscene where he does like the weird coin flip and gets like all up close and personal, like. The main character has infinitely more patience than me, because if someone walked up to me with that kind of attitude, I would immediately just like palm to the bottom of their nose, just break their fucking nose. Because they get the fuck away from me.
That's because you're a horribly adjusted man.
Now here's the thing, if someone with his attitude just started approaching me, like continuously just fucking throwing a coin, while again with his attitude that makes it scream like he was attempting to use me as a goddamn bargaining chip, I will break his fucking nose. You know, extra helpful considering that his fucking coin was suddenly in my hand. That's a metal surface instead of a hand that is going to smash into his nose. But yeah, anyone that approaches you in a way that you do not like and you are prepared to inflict violence on them, just like right here. Palm of the nose from below, right here.
Interesting.
Just nice suck. No hesitation. Just up there. Fuck, instantly broken nose.
Don't do it too hard, or you'll end up ramming the nasal cartilage back into the occipital lobe.
Nah, Aventurine has no brain anyways. He wouldn't be too affected. But yeah, do be careful.
Yeah.
Strictly self-defense. If you complete self-defense, it's all right.
I was about to say, don't tie them up and violently beat them so badly. Quoting Ed Skrein from Deadpool, "You can't kill me. I'm the only one who can fix your ugly mug."
I mean, like, of course, the ideal is always, you know, just go for the fucking jugular or something. Like, either jugular and run, or just like into the nads or fucking pit of the stomach. But hey, sometimes you just want to break a nose. Smiling is the duty of those who are left behind. Please try.
でも、私、和樹のことを思い出すと、やっぱり。
Okay, I just realized that some of Buchanan just like there's actually like a sentence on there like apples are called the forbidden fruit, but thanks to their unique and balanced sweet taste, we think they're totally legal.
So much for the tree of knowledge.
No good, huh? From reading the contents of Amane's diary, I understand that she worshipped Kazuki like a god. Odds are, giving her my standard order to smile now would only worsen her suffering. To be honest, the topic of my sister still stings a bit for me as well. But I guess I've developed my own way of coping with it. Amane, tell me something. Do you really believe Kazuki's dead?
それってどういう意味？
Exactly what it sounds like. To be honest, I don't really buy it. Certainly she's dead on paper, but they did find something that was thought to be Kazuki's corpse at the site. But I just can't believe she'd die that easily.
それは 私だって信じたくはないけど。
I'm gonna get into slightly gruesome territory here, alright? The corpse of Kazuki they found on the site had been cut to pieces. You know that as well, right? But for some reason, they never found her head. What do you think of that? She gave you a hint herself, didn't she? A long time ago, Kazuki told me about a swindle where carefully cutting and pasting makes 10 1,000 yen notes into 11 slightly smaller ones. And she showed you a similar trick with 11 carats. Corpses aren't any different. Just as an example, if you happen to have 10 of them lying around, you could probably make 11, don't you think?
嘘。だってそんなことが人間と人参は違うよ。
Not to Kazuki, they aren't.
じゃあカズキは生きてるの？
I don't know that. If she's alive, why hasn't she shown herself to us? It's all a mystery. But there's one thing I'm confident about. I don't think Kazuki would accept death that easily. And she always did have a number of personalities, characters she'd play. But now she might well be casually going about her business somewhere as a totally different person. Can't shake that feeling. At the time, 13 corpses were discovered at the crash site. Many of them had been horribly damaged, but the numbers matched. The investigators didn't have any reason to be suspicious, and the corpses were roughly identifiable. There was no point in DNA testing. Given the dismembered, partially consumed state of many of the bodies, a few missing parts wouldn't have inspired any serious doubts. And of course, Kazuki's head was never discovered. When they discovered the corpses, they did investigate the cause of death, but there was no DNA testing performed.
カズキ生きている？
No, I'm just saying it's possible to think that way. It's not like I have any real evidence.
でもカズキは言ったよ。私は死なないって。いつか必ずまた会えるからって確かに言ってた。
Right, but look, I'm not seriously trying to push the theory on you. All I meant was thinking Kazuki might still be alive somewhere might help you find the courage to... You're not listening to a word I say, are you? Hold on, where are you going all of a sudden? Apparently remembering something, Amane dashes off as if stung by a whip. Follow her as she flies up the stairs, throws open the door to her room, and begins rummaging around vigorously in her closet. Hello, Amane? Amane, anyone home? What's this? Pulling out a storage case that had been carefully tucked away in the back of her closet. Amane takes out a sheaf of yellowed memo paper, wrinkled and stained by patches of dried mud. Even at a glance, I immediately recognized the familiar handwriting lining those pages. That's Kazuki's writing, isn't it?
そう、それはカズキが私のために用意してくれた密林脱出メモだよ。
Take the leaves of paper, probably ripped out of a small notepad from Amane's hand. First, there's a rough map of the area around the camp, no doubt the product of Kazuki's independent investigations. She also included a number of methods to ascertain directions within the forest, including orientation by the stars. If a path ahead seems overly difficult, don't hesitate to take a detour. And when you think your physical strength may be failing you, take a rest. Use the time to discard items from your rucksack, beginning with the heavy and unessential. The soil is full of volcanic rock and dense minerals, so the tree's roots are shallow and twisted. Also, their access to sunlight is irregular. For these reasons, the direction of their growth won't be a reliable navigational tool. Maintaining pressure on your ankles offers some relief from swelling. Wear 2 sets of socks and pull them to the calf. Your lactic acid buildup will be less severe. Just don't expect this to offer much protection against leeches. Very methodical. That's Kazuki for you.
でね、ここ見て。
Did you fail to escape, huh?
カズキが残したメモには脱出に失敗したら居留地に戻ってこいって書いてあって、カズキが非常食を隠した穴の位置が記された地図があったの。
I see. Judging from the fact that she wrote those notes, Kazuki must have known from the start there was a good chance she'd be making you escape alone.
きっとカズキはこうなることを予想してたんだと思う。
But what made this come to mind all of a sudden?
あのさ、もしだよ。もしカズキが生きているとしたら、今カズキがどこにいるのかってヒントはここにあると思うんだよね。
Here. At the scene of the accident.
そう。和樹が私に最後に残したものってきっとこの非常食を埋めた穴の中にあるんじゃないかな。和樹
She
は
wants
事
to go
故の
back.
翌日、シャベルを抱えて一人で森の
Well,
中
to
に
be
入って
honest,
いっ
if you
た。
go there prepared, it wouldn't be as dangerous. Like, go there with, like, a proper machete to hack through the fucking plants? Or if not that, go to the spot up on the cliff where they fell down, and go to the goddamn cliffside where they couldn't climb up, and then just let down a rope ladder.
I feel so bad for her.
Actually, something someone said in the comments is there was actually a case of a rugby team being stranded on an island after a plane crash that
Oh yeah, the
had-
Andean mountain accident. Yeah.
that had a similar experience to the girls in this one, and they also got the exact same like harsh, terrible treatment after they got out, because they actually did have to cannibalize their own in order to survive as well.
A lot of them, you'll be happy to know, did escape, however,
Yeah.
crossing the Andean mountains.
Mm-hmm. Still, they got very harsh treatment afterwards, apparently.
Not what I've read of the event, but still. If they didn't have some comment passed at them, I'd be surprised.
Mm-hmm. There is a what if that accident actually inspired her route?
Yeah, I wondered at that, actually.
Could be a possibility.
Mm.
Denev's just thought, that's a horrible thing we could put our players through. Let's do that.
Yeah, but instead of an ATR 72 or 42 crash, let's put them all in a minibus.
Mm-hmm.
あれってバスの中から回収した食料とかを埋めに行ってたんだと思うんだ。
No, it was a fucker, wasn't it?
時々一人でふっといなくなることがあって、ずいぶんトイレの近い子なんだなって思ってたけど、多分頻繁にその穴に何かを隠しに行ってたんじゃないかって。
See, that sounds like the only realistic possibility of finding any clue that might lead us to Kazuki.
そう。それに、もし和樹が死んでいたとしても、最後の遺品がそこに残されているってこと。ねえ、ユージ、行ってみない？
Go to the scene, it seems. I mean, you.
確かに、まだきついかもしれない。苦しい思い出ばっかり詰まってる場所だしね。
Oh, that reminds me. Did we ever actually tell Bud what happened in that one CG that was zoomed in? Before they were caught by the teacher and the club president? Like, we hinted at yikes, but we never actually spelled it out for Bud.
I don't think... I'm not sure if we did.
I don't think
but
we
I don't
did.
want to hurt. I don't want to hurt him. I don't want to hurt him at all by telling him. I don't have the heart
Come
to do
on, this is suffering solidarity.
that. I'm not going to be the one to inflict it, with all due respect.
Okay, are you ready, Bud? Silence. He is not prepared. He muted himself.
He won't let the poor bugger rage.
That would be nice and not say it, actually.
Yeah.
Watch someone in the comments explain it, but accidentally reads it.
Don't tell him, audience, please.
Let the poor man live in ignorance.
Yeah.
He's a sensitive soul.
Here's an immense sense of self-preservation.
God, Discord keeps trying to shove Zenless Zone Zero down my fucking throat. Like, oh yes, Zenless Zone Zero version 1.0 quest. Stream Zenless Zone Zero to a friend for 15 minutes and win in-game rewards. No, I'm not playing this. Yeah, there was, I'm pretty sure I already fucking did this. Hide this. There we go. It's finally gone. You gonna unmute anytime soon, bud? Or should we just keep going?
I think something may have happened in the backdrop to him, bless him.
Possible. Fucking Kazuki showed up in this room. Ah, there we go. Safety. If you had to throw down with any of the students from the bus crash in their full homicidal eating people state, who would it be?
I haven't got a clue, partially because that question came out the blue somewhat.
I would say probably the girl that was sharing the tent with the third year that was tossing her phone up in the sky at the start, because she's already suffering from malnutrition to the point of going a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
And I think she was still alive at the end. Like, this bitch comes at me, just fucking knock her lights out.
Yeah.
Should we pause the recording until Bud's back?
Yeah, for a brief while.
We're back. He didn't actually leave out of out of protest of not wanting to hear the goddamn reality of CG. In fact, he is now in the know as well.
Sadly.
It's solidarity and suffering, bud. You're part of the crew now.
Sure.
We can sit down together and have a Forest Victims Anonymous meeting.
Yeah.
Except it won't be anonymous, considering. I actually have a very, like, swampy, small forest next to my house. It also has a small chapel in there. In fact, I think I talked about the chapel before, where there's like a small bridge over like a mini river type thing that for a project for my confirmation. Because like in Germany it's like, oh yeah, you have like these groups for confirmation that are like you prepare for your confirmation, but there's also usually the tradition of just like putting like a small project together. Like usually it's just like helping the elderly or something like that. But my group just decided, you know, the fucking like dilapidated wooden bridge in that chapel over in that forest? We're gonna tear that bridge down and build a new one.
Okay.
Yeah, that bridge was utterly dilapidated because like obviously we had to tear down the bridge before we could build a new one. So we tore down the bridge, but there was a second bridge underneath. So we tore down the second bridge, there was a third bridge underneath. So we tore down that bridge, there was a fourth bridge underneath. It went up to 6 bridges, and the 4th, 5th, and 6th bridge, the wood was already the consistency of mud.
It's a bridgeception.
It sounds like Devil's Bridge, but worse made.
Like, I'm entirely serious. Like, the bridge 4, 5, and 6, you could shovel it away as if it was, like, just mud. It was quite frankly, disgusting. Funny enough, I was called to help out over there on my birthday. And I was literally just sitting on the toilet, and I noticed a call and accidentally answered out of reflex. So I just like, yeah. Oh yeah, sorry, we know it's your birthday, and we said you wouldn't need to come and help on your birthday, but we need to help right now. So, could you come over? I mean, I can come over after I'm done on the toilet. You're on the toilet? Whoops. And it's like, it was really awkward because it was also one of the girls of the group that called me.
Oh.
Like, it would have been completely fine. It was just like the one other dude, but no. In fact, it was also the group where the group leader said in response to the, like, because at this first on the first meeting we all had to introduce ourselves, even though we largely knew each other already. And I essentially made a joke about how I'm fucking insane, because that's how I fucking roll. And the group leader just like fucking counter was saying like, I do say that the line between insanity and genius is quite thin. And it's like, how dare you do this to me? How dare you try to put a positive spin on my self-deprecation?
Sofa.
でもいつかは克服しなければいけないことだと思うし、それにユージが一緒に行ってくれるなら多分大丈夫だと思うんだ。
See.
Poor girl.
ちょっとしたデートだと思ってさ。悪いけど付き合ってよ。
Yeah,
The
alright.
lovely date, the murder forest.
The
murder
lovely
cannibalism
date to
forest.
Death Forest, right next to Murder Mountain. Actually, like you do have to say Death Forest and then Murder Mountain, because we don't want the fucking the copyright problems. We can't call it Murder Forest and Death Mountain because suddenly we're in Hyrule. Imagine your bus crashes so fucking hard you end up in goddamn Hyrule somehow.
That would be the ultimate isekai, wouldn't it?
Like, every now and again, it's just like I think I talked about how one of the big anime that really got me into anime, like one of them was Angel Beats. Watch it, coward. I'm talking to you, bud. I'm getting you to watch that at some point. And the second one being Zero no Tsukaima. And it's always crazy to like, yeah, Zero no Tsukaima was just an isekai before isekai was popular, really.
You're a horrible man.
And it also doesn't entirely feel too isekai, because a lot of the isekai make like a big fucking deal about the MCs being from the other world, and, you know, bringing knowledge from the other world with them. While in Zero no Tsukaima, it's just like this regular-ass fucking dude that has no particular fucking skills that could be useful in a fantasy setting. Aside from knowing, hey, that's not a dragon! That's a fucking fighter plane!
Hell yeah.
Actually a situation in Season 1. There's like a World War I or World War II Japanese fighter plane in this other world. Like, literally, what you could argue is like, oh, hey, the MC could be powerful because, like, oh, he sees those and he's like a secret military freak, so he knows how to use them. No, it's not. He literally just has like a fucking brand because he's a void familiar, and the brand's effect is he touches a weapon that was built as a weapon, and he immediately knows how to wield it. Like, that includes a fucking fighter jet, because a fighter jet is just a fucking vehicular weapon. And funnily enough, when he tried to wield a sword that was essentially just made as a regalia, he couldn't fucking use it because it was never made to be used as a weapon. Watch their own Skama. I will say, however, you are entirely forgiven for skipping, I think, episode 8, 9, and 10. Any episodes after, like just 2 episodes or so after the bearded dude that Rise the Griffin shows up, because those are just bad episodes, quite frankly. So you would be forgiven for skipping them. I mean, you should watch them on your first view and just skip them when you re-watch. because because I have rewatched it for like 7 or 8 times at this point. Anyways, the very next morning we borrowed the mini truck from the school, packed the lunchbox Amane made, and readied ourselves to set off for the scene of the accident. At first we planned to go by train, but the nearest station turned out to be more than 10 kilometers away from the mountain. Driving's far more convenient. We plans to make our way to the site, park in the lot at the foot of the mountain, and play Warframe apparently.
Oh, valid.
Like they just set up like a fucking full-on gamer setup at the edge of the forest and just start playing Warframe. Like the goddamn noise is going to attract Kazuki. Anyways, the plan is to make our way to the site, park in the lot for the mountain, and walk from there. But fortunately, there's apparently been a memorial erected on the side of the crash, which means the path up to the mountain was created as well. Shouldn't have to worry about getting lost. When we first decided on this trip, I'd imagined a grueling hike through the woods. But it turns out the memorial is only 2.8 kilometers from the parking lot at the foot of the mountain. We don't need any particularly elaborate plans for the walk itself, but on an emotional level, some preparations are still necessary.
それじゃあ私、お供え用のお花とお線香を買ってくるから、ここで少し待ってて。
Yeah, I got it. Parking the mini truck near the Mishima Capes train station, Amane slowly lowers herself out of the driver's seat. Not that it's any surprise, but she seems a little awkward and subdued. Watching Amane walk off with a purse in hand, dragging her feet like an exhausted office worker heading off to buy her low-calorie lunch, I heave a little sigh. Like that. To be perfectly honest, it's not like I seriously believe Kazuki's alive. I'm sure it's the same for Amane. If anything, this visit is the scene of her ordeal. This visit to the scene of her ordeal has more to do with Amane facing her own memories head on. I don't think the secret stash of Kazuki's is particularly meaningful. The hopes aren't exactly high for some sort of clue. I'm just praying we don't end up digging up something unpleasant. If Kazuki left her last will or testament or something, that whole Amane might come out as bearing even deeper wounds than before. Even so, it's been many years since the accident. After all this time, Amane finally gained the courage to return. It feels like a significant change. She'll be able to start coming to terms with what happened. Maybe her burdens will grow a little lighter. The point of visiting a grave is to bring comfort to those left behind. That's a firm belief of mine. Might have been a little too lost in thought. I didn't notice the man approaching until he was standing immediately behind me. Do I have to stab you? Yes. The man seemed to pop out of nowhere. Concealing my surprise, I turned slowly to face him. Did he just call me by my name? I'm not famous enough to be recognized by random strangers on the street. I carefully observe his face, then look over his clothes from head to toe with a single sweep of my eyes. A man with a light build, most likely in his mid-40s. Don't recognize the face, even though it's in the middle of summer. He's wearing a windbreaker jacket as though headed on a fishing trip. He's got a hunting cap on top of his noticeably graying hair and a beat-up old pair of long boots on his feet. On the whole, he leaves a pretty shabby impression. But the cologne he's wearing isn't cheap, and the glasses on his face are a first-class name brand. I don't remember him as a local shop owner or anything. But if he's just some tourist come to fish in the sea, it makes no sense that he'd know my name. Excuse me, but who are you?
おっとっとですよね。これは失礼。私は坂下と申しましてね。Amaneさんの大ファンなんですよ。
Yuji just immediately red alert stabs him in the fucking neck with a knife he hid. Amane's.
最近なんですか。Amaneさんに彼氏ができたと小耳に挟みましてね。一度お会いしてみたいなと思っておったのですよ。
You came here just to meet me.
いえいえいえいえ。今日ここでお会いしたのは偶然なんですけどね。たまたまAmaneさんとご一緒のところをお見かけしたもので、なぜか妙に嬉しくなってしまいましてね。ついお声をかけさせていただいたと、そういうことでして、はい。
It's not so. That's a lot of crap. Story's dubious enough, but my intuition's telling me that something's insincere about this man. For one thing, he's forcing his face into a smile by jerking up the edges of his mouth. For another, his eyes are dark and cold. There's a strange superficial gleam floating on the surface. They resemble two deep wells of oil. The man stinks. His body odor is normal enough, but something about him stinks. It's a familiar and pleasant smell that makes the back of my nose tingle ominously. Scent of bloodlust tinged with madness. Pardon me, but what do you do for a living?
ああまあこんな身なりですからねわからんのも無理もない話ですな実はつい最近まで IT 関連の会社の取締役をしてたのですがどうにも生きがいというものをなくしてしまいましてね急に仕事がバカらしくなったとでも言いますか今はご覧の通り恥ずかしながら無職の身でしてね
I see. Who is he? At the very least, he doesn't seem to be involved in my line of work. The face isn't familiar, but more importantly, he holds himself far too loosely for a pro. Even the Langley suits spend most of their time behind desks project a little more menace than this.
それでもね
CIA
会社を畳んでみて初めて分かったことというものもありましてね真っ白だった私の頭の中にぽつりと目標のようなものが浮かんできたんですわ目標なんて言ったら少し大げさかもしれませんねなんと言いますかねやり残したことがまだあったんだなって気がついたんですよ
I'm feeling alright.
ん何がでしょうああそうか時間ですか私は暇ですがそうですねいきなりこんな話を聞かされても退屈ですよねすみません
Not at all.
それじゃ私はこれで失礼しますくだらない話に付き合わせてしまってどうもすみませんでした
The man abruptly turns around and walks right off, his small hunched back unsteadily swaying back and forth. I watch him as he goes, but all of a sudden he seems to have disappeared into thin air. The sound of his footsteps, the faint smell of his cologne, the sight of his hunting cap weaving back and forth, pick up any trace of the man. He's melted into the low buzz of the station streets as if he was never here in the first place. Wasn't a ghost, was he? Of course, I don't really believe in any of such things. That sudden appearance and equally abrupt exit were about as ghostly as it gets.
お待たせ何どうかしたの
No, it's nothing. This weird old man just struck up a conversation, that's all.
変なおっさん誰
Don't know, kind of a creepy one though. There's no doubt in my mind he's an amateur. But I can't get...
Elder Scrolls.
Skyrim.
No, I'm not playing it, buying it again, Todd! But I can't get over the gleam of madness in those eyes. I've seen that gleam before. Those are the eyes of a man who's thrown away everything. The eyes of a man who's fixated himself on one goal, abandoning all for the sake of his country, comrades, or family. The crazed eyes of a fanatic. Amane called himself your fan. Anyone come to mind?
自慢じゃないけど私中年には結構モテるからな
Excuse me?
誰だろう
I have a bad feeling about this.
何そんなに変な人だったの
I was like talking to a grim reaper in human form. Got the sickening tingle in my chest.
やだちょっと大丈夫
I've experienced something like this before. I don't know when exactly. Probably in early childhood. It's a vague memory that my mind doesn't want to remember too clearly. A dark, unpleasant memory locked away for many years suddenly oozes out from the crack in the wall. The old man, close my eyes slowly as the sensation of cold perspiration grows in my armpits. Trickles of salty sweat roll down my forehead and over my closed eyelids. My hands are clenched tightly into clammy fists. It takes conscious effort to keep my knees from trembling. It's been a while since I remembered. A while since some triggered this psychological trauma.
ユージ本当に大丈夫なんかすごい汗だよ
Yeah, I'm fine.
どうする 今日はもうやめにして帰ろうか？
Nah, you finally managed to make up your mind to do this. Let's go. The madness I sensed in that man is just a figment of my imagination. The scent of that cologne revived buried memories of my father in my unconscious mind, leading me into a paranoid post-traumatic delusion. Whatever the case, at the moment I just want to put as much distance between me and him as possible. Our destination is about 2.5 hours away from Mishima Cape by highway. While I'll admit a little unease at letting Amane take the wheel, it'd be difficult to complain given the obvious technical skills of the driver. The mini truck accelerates smoothly as we pull into the fast lane, its 4-cylinder engine
し
purring.
まったな。タイヤの空気圧低かったかな。高架のジョイントで少しお尻振るね。
Well, yeah, since we don't have a load in the
ど
back.
うしよう。次のサービスエリアで止まってエアの調節しようか。
Hardly necessary. Any more pressure and it'll ride rough once we're off the highway. Just turn the wheels into the sway and keep our weight evenly distributed. Focus on directing the rear driver's side tire and we shouldn't fishtail.
ちょい踏み気味ってことかな。こんな感じ？
Right, like you're gently turning into an exit.
ああ、なるほどね。雪道の要領か。面圧の均等分配ね。人間トルクスプリッターだ。
Very adept driver.
You've lost me now. In any case, all I'm saying is we've got 4 tires on this thing, so make good use of them all. Don't word it like that, because then she's gonna claim that she has a full speedometer.
Dear me.
I have a full speedometer. I'm going to use the full speedometer.
Hell yeah.
Not with Dota though, considering how slow the games are going. Long ass games, those.
難しいことを簡単に言ってくれるよね。私の場合、さらっとやってるように見えるけど、結構大変なんだよ、それ。
I do, but I also know what you can do. I wouldn't have said that to just anybody. What?
なんかさ、やっぱユージって和樹の弟だよね。
What's that supposed to mean?
なんかさ、うまく言えないけど、やっぱ似てるんだよ。和樹もユージも。
He
To be
just
honest,
looked.
when it come-
He just
Sorry?
looks over at. I despise such words.
To be honest with you, at that stage with regards to driving, all I'd end up doing is just ride the traction control like a horse.
Can't deny it. A lot of ways Kazuki raised me more than my parents did.
そっか。
Don't get so transparently depressed at every single thing I say, will you? I want to tiptoe on trying to be tactful. It's a pain in the ass.
はっきり言うな。
Kazuki isn't as delicate a subject for me as you seem to think. Not that I can completely laugh it off, but there's no need to get gravely serious every time I mention her name. For what it's worth, I'm not trying to torture you about her death either.
でも、
Yeah, I know. When you want me to bully you, just say the word. I'll play along unless I have some better to do with my time.
そういう意地の悪い言い方、ほんと似てるな。
Don't laugh at me, woman. As much as I can do. Push and pull Amane around, keep her hands so full that she doesn't even have the time to get depressed. And in the darkest moments, I scold her outright. You've got a responsibility to live for my sake. I won't allow you to run away from it. That's all I can do for her, but I believe it'll be enough. I believe she'll be saved someday. I want to believe that. But for now, Amane still recoils from happiness, sinking into strong depression at the times, at best of times.
Poor Amane.
But the weight grows too heavy for her to bear. She tugs at my sleeve so that no one else can see, then whispers into my ear. Always the same words. Hey, bully me. I need my punishment for the day, please. Tormented and teased, she finds the peace of mind that eludes her in moments of gentle kindness. I've accepted Amane, that strange, contradictory jumble of emotions, just as she's accepted me. We'll work through them together from now on. I don't know how many years that'll take. If things go badly, Amane might be like this for the rest of her life. But as long as I'm able to tag along, I will.
何？思い出し笑い？
Nah, just kinda amused myself, thinking seriously about the future and all that.
何それ？将来ぐらい誰だって考えるでしょ？
I guess so. Everyone does, don't they? Sooner or later, everything that lives reaches the same future. In other words, death. I've imagined mine a number of times. No, imagine might not be the right word. I've brushed against the very real possibility of death a number of times, implanting the awareness that I might well lose my life this way in my mind. And in those visions, I always died alone, without exception. I leave the world with all the dignity of a stray dog in a ditch. No one grieves, no one gets a phone call, my corpse is disposed of in a business-like manner, and that's that. That's how I'd always seen it play out. For a long time I scraped my way through life, unable to consider even my own path. Now I'm seriously thinking about the future for the sake of a single woman. If that's not laughable, what is?
ねえ、ユージはさ、将来どうするつもり？
Probably blow this one guy's brains out on a mission next Tuesday. What about you?
Back to the meme of, I don't know, I never expected to get this far.
That's an amazingly vague question. What are you asking me specifically?
だからずっと私のそばにいてくれるんだよね。
I get it. You want me to propose?
そうなんだけどさ、ユージ、寮に帰ったら辞書でデリカシーって言葉について調べた方がいいよ。
Of course I'm thinking about marriage as well. But since I've been living pretty selfishly and irresponsibly up until now, it's kind of difficult to even imagine. I've never lived the sort of life I could tell others about with pride. Pretty sure the idea of leaving any trace of my passing through this world has always repelled me. I didn't want to get married, much as have kids. I didn't want to take on anything that would be left behind after my death. Same reason I've never owned more property than I can carry on my back. But I'm starting to think that for a moment's sake I'd be willing to throw that lightness away. So I run smack into a logistical problem. Of course, I'm referring to my job. I mean, the truth is, I'm currently at something of a loss. After 1.5 years of my job, my field term's up. Should I renew my contract? Spend a year as an instructor while sitting exams and aim for promotion? Or should I resign, become a permanent reserve, and look for other work? What would you prefer?
って言われてもな、どう違うの？
The biggest difference would be the level of danger. If I renew my contract and get promoted, my risk will go way down, but that also means my total salary will drop sharply. Whereas if I become a reserve member, I'll be able to take on the day jobs and my earnings depend on my abilities. But when called back for emergency service, my jobs won't be any less dangerous than they are
だ
now.
ったら、私は安全な方がいいな。
But you know, even if I renew the contract, it's going to be difficult for me to move up the ranks since I didn't attend a specialized school. It'd probably take me 10 years to make assistant section chief, and getting any further will be harder still, maybe even impossible. My base salary today is 187,300 yen a month. Promoted 233,600. Even if I work until retirement age, maybe 494,100. Actually, let's plop those numbers in the goddamn in the goddamn
Dear God,
conversion.
He's getting paid sticks and stones.
Yen to. Everyone gets to search in their own fucking currency. I'm searching for euro.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting paid in sticks and stones.
And you gotta actually
Yes,
say
it is.
the number for each of them so that people know what it is.
1,157 American dollars.
You cut out very frequently by reading that out.
$1,157 a month.
That's, I'll round it up, £902 sterling.
Oh, it's over. He's
Okay,
not making a life of it.
1,97300. Calculate. Okay, in euro, that is 1,069 euro. For the first
He's
one.
just straight up not making it up.
For the first one, that is. For the second one,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have
233,600.
the second is 1,334 euros if you round it.
Yeah, again rounding up. £1,125 sterling. And the remaining one, 409.
The last one in euro is 2,564 euro.
Or if you wish, £2,162 sterling.
Oh, this one. 44 USD.
So yeah, this man is not making goddamn jack shit.
Yeah.
It's not impossible to get by on when you add in the benefits and bonuses, but...
お給料の金額ってもう
I
決まっ
imagine
ちゃっ
his
てるの
pension is dog shit as well.
Right, our company's got a
Even the
pay
final
scale,
was-
so the
Do
salary...
they even have a pension if his life expectancy is so low?
Probably not! Though if he does
Maybe
get
when he
into...
gets past section chief, but
Yeah, I was
after
about
that-
to say, maybe once he gets into the, like, quote-unquote safer ranks, then they get a pension, but... Our company's got a pay scale, so the salary corresponding to every rank is clearly
で
defined.
も危ない仕事はしなくていいんでしょ
For the moment, at least, but that's also dependent on circumstances. If an emergency develops and some big shot says protect me even if it costs your life, I wouldn't be able to disobey.
嫌だって言えないの
Well, you could try, but when your superiors say a volunteer step forward, hanging back isn't really an option. When you get right down to it, that's what they're paying us for.
そうなんだ
voluntold.
But then again, if I die on the job as a formal employee, there'd apparently be a 100 million yen payment to my family.
そういう問題じゃないと思う
Kind of sounds like my £5,000 sterling accidental death cover. If I die at work, of course.
Oh yeah. Actually, talking about accidents at work, my mother works at a, essentially a service in the school where they watch the kids while the parents are still at work. And that's because of that, she very frequently gets to talking with the cleaning crew of the school. And one of the cleaning crew is like this old woman that already barely fucking does any work because she's like way too fucking old. Quite frankly, she should already be in fucking retirement, but she refuses to retire. And even at work, she's like she's very rough with it, and very frequently will just stand there and watch someone else do her work because they saw her work and just decided, yeah, no, that's not enough. Let me just fucking do it. And she very frequently will hurt herself, but refuse to go to the hospital about it, and just goes home and tries to deal with it like that. And recently, she got into an accident that everyone else was telling her, we're going to call the fucking ambulance for you. But she refused, got someone to drive her home, but then at home her daughter was like, no, we're getting you a fucking ambulance, and we're sending you to the goddamn hospital. But here's the thing, she went home, so she's now not allowed to settle this as a work accident because she called the ambulance to go to her home. Because she went home afterwards. And that's why they know, like, her fucking insurance will not accept this as a workplace accident. So now she has to deal with sitting in goddamn hospital, which is she's already fucking in tears over. But also that she has to pay for the stay herself. If I become a permanent reserve instead, I'll still be called up for emergencies. But operating under the table, I can work a little more flexibly. In other words, I'd be able to play dirty beyond the scenes without anyone complaining. I might be able to pull through serious crises through skill and craftiness. Not an option for a normal employee.
結局どっちが安全なの
As long as there aren't any dramatic upheavals in the world, renewing the contract and becoming a regular employee carries less risk. But in the case of a large-scale emergency, being a reserve would be comparatively safer.
微妙ユージはどうしたいの
All things considered, I don't want to become a permanent reserve and look for another job. If you get married to start a family, I want to be able to tell my kids what daddy's job is.
そこまで考えてるんだ
Yeah, you don't want to you don't want to have to answer your kids asking you what your job is, but I blow the brains out of evil guys' heads. It's very messy. but that's why they call us a cleaning company. But that's just a cover. We kill people.
Clean up off the face of the earth.
It's just Visera cleanup detail.
Yeah. Sounds so surprised. Just whose fault do you think that is? A little while ago, I wasn't thinking more than a day or two ahead at most.
それっていいことなんだよね。
Probably, yeah.
私は有事の決めた方で構わないよ。契約更新してお給料が安くても私も働けばいいことだし、他の仕事に就きたいならそれでも構わない。
Even on permanent reserve, they're going to keep me on a short leash for 5 years. I need to apply in advance to move into a new home or travel abroad. I won't be free to pick any job I want
それ
either.
でも他の仕事がいいんでしょ。大丈夫。仕事が見つからなかったら二人で長距離トラックの運転手でもやろうよ。
Would you be okay with that?
いいんじゃない。私タイヤのついてる乗り物大好きだし、意外と似合うと思うな。
Well, come to think of it, I do have a lead on a job, I guess. Not that anything's been settled yet. The principal floated the idea of taking me on at Mihama.
先生になるってこと？
Nothing's decided yet.
でも何の先生になるの？そっか。うちって体育の先生いないよね。体育の先生は？
I could keep trying to tell you, nothing's decided yet.
でもそれすごくいいと思うよ。さっきの子供の話じゃないけどさ、パパは先生ですってすっごくわかりやすいんじゃない？
Yeah, I guess so.
そうか、そうだよね。結婚か。
I was planning to introduce myself to your family pretty soon, but marriage would be a ways off yet. I have to get a job first, at the very least.
そうだね。それでも嬉しいな。なんだろう、なんか急に生きる希望、そんなのが見えてきた感じ。
That's a good thing. Optimism, if you put it nicely. Wishful thinking, if you don't. I think in Wisconsin you told me they're both manifestations of a psychological self-defense mechanism that keeps us from committing suicide. But whichever it is, I'll take it. I don't think daydreams or theoretical scenarios are going to save Amane, but it's not a bad place to start. Ah! Sorry.
Interesting.
I saw trees. I have a very violent response to trees.
Is now a good time to admit that I was reading about recollections of a gunship pilot in Vietnam, and now I've got Vietnam flashbacks. Need to get some Willie Pete down there.
Funny enough that someone started playing Dota 2 earlier, considering one of the heroes in Dota 2, Timbersaw, is literally a goblin who has PTSD non-flashbacks about trees because a bunch of Ents went into his village and essentially destroyed his entire village, and he only survived because he barricaded himself in his home and like just built a massive mech with the express purpose of cutting trees as efficiently and brutally as humanly possible. Games are very fun if you have a timber saw and a tree and protector on your team at the same time. Actually, hold on. Now I need to look up some of the lines. Oh, hey, Morgan sent me a piece of Rosa art. I mean Rosa from Pokemon, not Rosalina.
The memoir I was reading, as a matter of trivia, was Guts and Gunships by W01 Mark Garrison. Go and buy it on Amazon, it's great.
Yeah, draft, entering battle, taunting. Oh yeah, what are the lines when you when you fucking pick him in the loadout is, trees? What do you mean there's trees out there? Or I'm not a lumberjack. This is personal.
Put in the fire and prairie fire.
Also beginning battle, of course. There's trees everywhere.
Of course.
Also, whenever you have him move, he has like a very high chance of having a panic attack or saying, "That looks angry. What if they get me?" Or when he attacks, something that he can say is, "You're with the trees, aren't you?" Anyways, where's the fucking? Those are the level up lines. Those are the killing lines. Killing specific enemies. Nah, who cares? Beacon and ally. There's a giant tree person right next to me. Stay calm. Just stay calm. Or there's a giant tree person next to me. Stay calm. Hi there. Stay calm. Or with nature's prophet, you make 3 people. Okay, prophet. I don't think we can be friends. Yeah, P's funny.
I've also posted in the chat the radio messages of this garrison guy I told you about.
Also, there is one item in the game called Iron Branch, which is a branch that gives you small amounts of like mediocre amounts of stats, but it's very cheap, and also you could use it on the ground to spawn a tree. And when you buy them, he just has a 10% chance of just saying, branch? Just branch, question mark. As if he's like about to have a fucking panic attack. Also, funnily enough, there is a unused voice line for Juggernaut. Which is just him saying, "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch." Oh yeah, like there's a 5% chance when killing a Lich that he says, "I'm the Juggernaut Lich." And there's like essentially a unused line. Oh yeah, right. It's essentially like a fucking Easter egg. If you click the hero multiple times while selecting, he has a chance to say, "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch," instead of, anything else. Anyways, we arrived at the parking lot outside the mountain a little after 10, slightly behind schedule. Since we didn't know where the trail up the mountain began, we stopped into a diner and asked around. But apparently the crash site has become somewhat popular among local kids as a haunted spot. So the answer received was, "What, you too?" and a judgmental glare. After we explained that I'm a bereaved family member, they finally pointed us toward the unmarked entrance. The utterly deserted path up the mountain had a gentler incline than I'd expected. Ah! The locals rarely set foot in here, and the trickle of visitors has slowed down over the years, so the trail's neglected and overgrown. But now it's been halfway reclaimed by the primeval forest. There we go. Not too far beyond this tangled jungle, we'd glimpsed a private golf club with neatly manicured grounds, but on this hike, our scenery consists of bristly waist-high grasses swaying in the breeze, trees sticking out of the harsh soil at odd angles, and slanting rock paths, and the slanting rock path ahead. That surprisingly gentle incline didn't last long either. 10 minutes into the forest, and the slope quickly grew intense. Thanks to the vigorous exercise and high humidity, my back's quickly soaked in a pleasant sweat. Noticing that Amane has begun to lag behind, I come to a halt and turn around to face her. You alright, Amane?
大丈夫。当時に比べれば全然歩きやすいし。
The path's fairly wide, probably cut to the forest with the installation of the memorial stone in mind. But even so, now and again we run into a steep stretch of rocks that we're forced to scramble up on hands and knees. Since we're not pushing through thick grasses as we go, it must be significantly better than it was for Amane back then, but it's decidedly not an easy stroll.
こんな道があの当時にもあればね。
No use saying that now, of course. Deciding to interpret Amane's words as a monologue, I turn without comment, and once again push forward on the rough mountain path. The further we advance, the twistier the road grows, the more frequent and severe its ups and downs. Just as an experiment, I take out my M2 compass and then open the lid. At a glance, the magnetic needle seems to be pointing north. Maybe drag compasses are harder to influence, but having finished sighting, I lower the compass to chest level and the needle immediately begins to shake. And when I place the compass on the ground itself as a test, the needle swings dramatically and fixes itself in a completely impossible direction. I take out my phone and flip on the GPS as if to say, well, how about this? But while the latitude and longitude display accurately, the mapping gets me nothing but a no signal message. See, this is rough. I'm standing on a well-defined trail right now, so I don't feel any anxiety. But a quick visual survey of the surrounding area reveals nothing else that could serve as a landmark. Without this path, glancing over your shoulder for a moment would probably be enough to completely throw off your orientation. Where a powerful blizzard may create a temporary whiteout, the jungle of this dense produces a permanent greenout. I spent maybe 3 hours now hiking up the mountain. It's been 30 minutes since our third short breather. I was about to suggest taking a second longer break when I noticed that Amane has grown extremely quiet. The look in her eyes suggests that we've reached familiar scenery.
多分こっち。
Letting Amane point, I follow us little ways behind. Before long, we arrive in a gaping rocky ravine surrounded on all sides by overhanging trees.
ここはあの当時とほとんど変わってないんだね。
Well, yeah, no one's gonna fucking come and clean up the goddamn bus. Hell, people sometimes leave abandoned buses in more populated regions that aren't broken.
Well, they probably have a higher propensity of getting torched.
Yeah. The rusted, ruined bus is still lying where it fell 6 years ago. Most likely, it was simply impossible to remove it from this place.
そっか。あっちの方向に進めば3時間くらいで道路に出られたんだね。
Hence why you should have immediately moved! You had a trail leading right to it. Even when aiming directly for a clear landmark, it's often impossible to keep yourself traveling in a straight line through a dense forest. Take so many detours to avoid obstacles that your direction may eventually be thrown off. In my company, new employees receive compass-based navigation instructions as part of their final training. After mastering basic compass operation, the final part of this little course involves throwing the newbies into a dense jungle with only a rough handwritten map and absurdly demanding they find their way to a specific point. Given a halfway adequate path, it wouldn't even be a challenging hike, but a primeval forest without even animal trails, it's no joke. In the end, the majority lose their way and give up. And these are adults who've spent a number of days learning how to orient themselves under difficult conditions. In some cases, they'll spend a good 4 hours or so hiking through the forest with a crude map in one hand, only to find themselves back where they started, the instructor sneering, "What's wrong? Forget something?" If anything, you did a hell of a job finding your way out of this place at all.
多分私が脱出できたのは偶然みたいなものなんだと思うよ。本当にこっちで合ってるのかなって私自身半信半疑で歩いてたし。それでも和樹の言う通りにしていればきっと助かるって信じていたから。
As she spoke, Amane's downcast eyes fixed on the dignified, striking granite cenotaph standing before us. Seems to have been a while since the last visitor. Flowers placed for the monuments are thoroughly withered, and the offerings of drinks and cakes have clearly been battered by the elements. After cleaning them away, Amane silently placed the bouquet and snacks she bought and Mishima cape on the table set up for offerings, then sets up and lights her incense sticks.
来るのが遅くなってごめんね。
Crouching down in front of the stone, Amane shuts her eyes and brings her hands together.
正直私はまだみんなのことが怖いよ。
Well, yeah, a couple of them tried to eat you.
Yeah.
Like, the moment they try craving my flesh is the moment where, you know...
Rules kind of fly out the window.
Yeah, exactly. The moment you want to have a nibble of my butt cheeks and not in the sexual way, that's where the fucking... I mean, it already also ends in the sexual way because...
Yeah, it kind of does, yeah.
Stay the fuck away from my butt. But still. There we go.
でも逃げてるだけじゃどうしようもないから私もう逃げるのをやめるよ私が逃げ出した後みんながここでどうなったのかはわからないけどきっと楽な死に方はできなかったんだよね
Like, they just watch Amane run away like 6 years ago, and the moment she's out of shot, they just all let go of Kazuki unanimously. Okay, there we go. Just like they could give Kazuki a rock, bash our heads in. We want a quick one.
みんな死んじゃったのに私だけ生き残って許してなんて言えない許されようなんて思うこと自体がずうずうしいことだって分かってるだからもう謝らないよ私その代わりこれからはずっとお礼を言うよ
Thank you for trying to eat my flesh.
みんなありがとう
Amane's praying with an earnest, intent look on her face, but can't think of anything to say in the moment. It's just a stone in the end, and Kazuki's not in there. But it's not that I'm stubbornly clinging to that old cold realism. I simply can't find the words to speak to my sister. I've been able to handle this sort of thing very well. Years ago, when my American classmate Daniel Vol died on the job, and I rushed over to his funeral, it was the same. Staring at Danny's coffin wrapped up in the stars and stripes, I found myself at a loss. Hey Danny, kidding, right? The first Marine's Iron Man couldn't possibly have died, right? You're just gonna pop out of that thing and yell, hey shorty, something wrong with that shit-eating grin on your face, right? Stop the crappy jokes, Danny. Those were the only words that popped into my head. No words can reach the dead. You want to talk about something, talk about the reason they're gone. No matter how we feel about the matter, people die all too easily when the circumstances demand it. Seeking the reason for the death of Kazuki and the others, I once asked JB for copies of the investigation reports, years ago now. Unexpectedly, the documents indicated most of them had died of acute digestive disease, specifically orally transmitted infections, mainly colitis and hepatitis. The investigators conjectured the group had died in rapid succession, perhaps 2 to 4 days after symptoms first emerged. And the source of the infections was almost certainly the bush meat they'd added to their diet. Was the origin there of the illness the dog they'd eaten after its death from sickness? Perhaps?
みんなをバラバラにしたのは誰なんだろうね
Right. Yes, the corpses discovered in this place had all been severely mutilated, with the lone exception of Yoshihiko Ochi, the club's advisor. That disturbing scene dominated coverage on the accident, overwhelming the truth through the sheer spectacle. The phrase dismemberment murders took on a life of its own, ultimately leading to public suspicion that the sole survivor might have been the criminal responsible for leaving those gruesome corpses behind. But take half a serious look at the results of the investigation, you'd see the autopsy suggested the bodies had been cut apart only after death. And since Amane had escaped from the valley before the estimated times of death for most of the corpses was simple enough to surmise she couldn't be responsible for their mutilation. And there were plenty of whispers and entered rumors suggesting that Amane must have deceived the investigators about the timing of her escape. But in any event, as was received by the authorities as speculation it was, and a potential case against her was never pursued for insufficient evidence. Next target of the buzzards, innuendo, and slander was Yoshihiko Ochi, recorded in the report as the only corpse along the 13 discovered intact. After all, a mass murder of female students by their own teacher was an even more attractive storyline for the classless scum of the world. Since it had a stronger tinge of scandal than the alternative, the media leapt onto this new theory with all the enthusiasm about dog-thrown red meat, adding in insinuations of sexual assault towards his pupils just for spice.
Well, towards the end there, it wouldn't really.
That was no sexual assault.
Towards the end, I wouldn't put it past him.
With their slander, they tore apart Ochi's starved, pitiful corpse far more cruelly than any knife could have. In consideration of the extreme extenuating circumstances, no posthumous charges were ever filed against Ochi. Much like this lone surviving girl, society presumed him guilty. Who cut them up isn't a problem. To keep history from repeating itself, the only thing that matters is understanding why.
でもそれだけじゃ面白くないんだろうね。
The bus is there, huh?
What the hell's wrong with this country anyway? Maybe I don't have the right to complain as someone who was born and raised in Japan and never tried to change a thing about it. But I've also seen this country from an outside perspective. And it routinely makes me sigh in disgust. You say it as if Japan is the only one.
All just the human condition.
It's the human condition, yep.
Yeah.
Wherever you go, people are fundamentally no better than they are anywhere else. You know that rationally, and I've experienced this many times, but it always brings on a nauseating surge of bitterness. I'm fully prepared to die the unappreciated death of a stray dog. Still, every time I feel there's a familiar wave of disappointment, I can't help but wonder what I've been crawling through the mud for. It makes me want to vomit. Amane, are you done with it? I'm starting to feel a little sick to my stomach.
ありがとう、付き合ってくれて。大丈夫？
Yeah, but I don't want to hang around this place longer than necessary. Let's dig up whatever Kazuki buried and get out of here.
でも何が入ってるんだろうね。ちょっと見るのが怖いよ。
It'll be alright.
Reasonable enough. There's no telling what's going to come out of that hole. Even Kazuki's last will and testament might not be so bad on the scale of possibilities. Considering the circumstances back then, if by any chance we were to dig up her decapitated head, even understanding that the idea is absurd, I learned a long time ago not to put anything past Kazuki, even the physically impossible. Kazuki, huh? For a long time, I'd almost never spoken my sister's name, but lately it's been different. On the black cenotaph, presumably built by the families of the victims, that name is listed with all the others. The names of the 13 who died in this place. Kaneda Saya, Komori Megumi, Hiroka Tamaki, Sakurai Mifuyu, Shikanai Tsukasa, Ozawa Yoko, Okabe Tomoe, Sakuma Minori, Ibuki Haruna, Kazumi Kazuki, Ochi Yoshihiko, Koide Ritsu, Sakashita Chiaki. As I run my eyes across the list engraved into the smooth stone, some catches my attention. Sakashita Chiaki. That name, hold on.
おっとっとですよね。これは失礼。私は坂下と申しましてね。天音さんの大ファンなんですよ。
Did you just say something, bud?
I said,
Oh, I thought you said like what, you have something to say to tell to the class? No. Apparently
no,
not.
just.
Could it be a coincidence? No, that's...
ユージ？
There's no
どうしたの？
coincidence.
気分でも悪いの？
Quiet!
We're
What's
in the
this?
conflict part of the VA.
Something unpleasant in the air.
Coincidences don't exist.
It's too quiet.
You wish for the
birds singing.
gunships.
As the trees rustle in the wind, I finally pick up the scent of a familiar menacing presence. My breath catches in my throat. In an open, rocky clearing with a little in the way of shelter, I've caught the murderous scent of an enemy. I'm gonna get down. Reacting instantly, I leap to push Amane aside, shielding her with my body. But before we hit the ground, there's a violent thrust against my right shoulder from behind. Ah! In the next split second, the shattering sound of a gunshot rings off the cliffs and soaks into the trees above, rattling my eardrums. Next thing I hear is a dull thump. By the time I realize it was the sound of my head striking the rock in the ground, my conscience is already sinking into profound darkness.
まさか気づかれるとは驚いたな。まるで野生動物みたいに勘のいい男だね。
Huh, this is different from the anime.
I knew, but I wanted to keep it as a surprise for you.
Should we just tell Bud what the anime did?
You know what? May as well.
Yeah, in the anime, they visit this place, and then they come back, and Yuji is out on a mission, and while he's out on the mission, this motherfucker walks into the school, takes all the girls hostage, and is threatening. I don't even know why he left Amane alive at the start. Don't even remember. The only reason why they managed to get out of that situation is because he decided to be nice enough to let her take a piss in the girls' bath, and Yuji just fucking sniped his ass through the goddamn bathroom window.
Yeah, Mane was taken to one side, but yeah, usually snipes him with a 6mm, not 6mm, I think it was 6-inch gap from around about a kilometer away.
Man's accurate.
Can't let go of the past.
The man is very accurate.
Yeah.
あなたは一体何を。
はいどうも、周防天音さん。お会いするのは初めてだったかな。私はね、坂下千秋の父親で坂下刑事と申します。天音さんにおかれましてはお元気そうで何よりです。はい。
坂下部長の。
Oh, right. It was the fucking captain's dad. Even worse.
そうですよ。あなたが見殺しにした。いや、あなたが殺した坂下千秋の父親です。
Only he knows.
Fucking Kazuki just like stabs him in the back. She was bagging her teacher at the end, just so you know.
If only he knew how far she fell into depravity.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
most likely she didn't talk about that extent, considering that they all just thought, oh, she survived by eating the others. So clearly she didn't talk about, you know, the others starting to go cannibal and her running because of that.
Yeah.
So as far as he knows, there was no cannibalism, except from maybe her. And his slow madness over the grief of losing his daughter is just like, oh, clearly she killed her. She killed her, since she's the survivor.
Yeah.
かわいそうな千秋。なんでこんなことになっちゃったんでしょうね。これが運命だっていうなら、あまりにも残酷で、もうね、神を恨む思いですよね。でもほら、なんて言うんでしょうかね。神とかってね、人の弱さが生み出した概念的なものっていうか、ね。
Alright, you cringy edgelord. Just, you know, use that gun to, you know, put it in your own mouth and pull the trigger, please. Quite clearly you need it.
His daughter died. He turned into a redditor.
Yeah, he did.
Turned into a redditor. Oh my word.
Like, even look at the hat.
That's a thought. Cactus, use this sprite and change his top to a Reddit symbol. There, that'll do.
There we go. I'll even give you a nice view of it.
There you go.
実体のないものを憎んでもね。で、まあ私は思うわけですよ。何かこう、存在としてのありがたみとでも言いますか、この手で触れることのできる対象と言いますか、わかりますかね。ユージ！動くなー、ボケ！私の話の途中でしょうが、聞きなさいよ。
Now this here is the perfect example. Like, he is very close to me right now. He has invaded my personal space. Apply palm to nose.
Oh, he just fired his second time to show that he's living.
I mean, it's not a double barrel.
Yes, it is.
No, that was only one barrel.
It's no grounder. It's not.
It was not. There was only one barrel. It's a hunting gun.
Yeah, I think it's a... It kind of looks like a single barrel Winchester.
It's most likely a hunting rifle.
It looked like an over-under shotgun, you know?
Uh-huh.
They did point out his hunting beret, so... And he is a rich man, so he's likely has dabbled in hobbyist hunting. So why he probably has the hunting rifle.
Mm-hmm.
まったくもう、まったくどいつもこいつもまったく動くなよ。今弾入
Oh,
れ替え
never
るから
mind. He only had 2 shots. What the fuck?
I told you.
Yeah, but he
So
was.
it is a
But here's the
2-0.
thing: he shot at Yuji, and he was apparently only hit once in the shoulder or something.
Look, you're doubting an American. I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Ah, shit.
ユージ
Yeah, I'm alright. Although I reflexively offered reassurance, the fact of the matter is nothing about the situation is remotely alright. We're all well and good that I sensed that sharp murderous aura in time to pull Amane down, but I didn't manage to completely escape the widely scattered buckshot pal. Oh, never mind, it's also buckshot. It's just that he just
I fucking
barely didn't
told
fucking
you.
get hit. Well, how bad of a shot is this man?
I told you. It's a shotgun. I'm him.
But how bad of a
I
shot is
fucking-
this man to only get like
Only
fucking graze this man? Felt as though an enormous stone had smashed into my right shoulder. The blood flowing through my wound quickly grows cold against my back, gluing my shirt to my body. But considering the amount of blood, the flow doesn't seem that intense. I've probably got a number of small pellets lodged in my shoulder. The wound's not going to prove fatal on the short term, but when I try to pull myself up off the ground, my back screams with pain. Try to find a less painful way to move, twisting my body like a caterpillar, but it's wasted effort. That huge stab of pain all but paralyzed my body. Keeping still is about the only way I'm able to maintain my composure.
よし、娘の話をしよう。
Having finished reloading shells into his break-action vertical double-barreled
I
shotgun.
told you.
Ah.
I told you. I told you.
But then I have an action. How the fuck did he get a shotgun? Like, a hunting a rifle would still be somewhat easy to explain. But this man is walking around with buckshot.
Yeah. Mind you, gun laws in Japan are a lot more strict, and you need to take an exam to get one.
Your first mistake was doubting an American on guns. You're such an idiot.
Observing his sudden placid behavior, my throbbing heartbeat slowly begins to settle down. At the very least, it seems he doesn't intend to kill us immediately. Sending Amane a small signal to wait for now with a flick of my eyes, I quietly settle back to watch and wait.
千秋はね、私が30の頃に授かった娘でね、親の勧めもあって26で結婚した私が愛してもいない妻と苦労して作った娘なんですよ。
Damn, what a loser.
正直ね、子供なんて欲しくはなかったんですよね。でもね、老いた両親に熱望されてしまえば無下に断るわけにもいかない家系でしてね。私の父は戦後の混乱期に不動産で財を成した資産家でしてね。私は父のそんな火事場泥棒まがいの商売を継ぐのが嫌で嫌で。よく反発しては生意気を言うなと殴られたものですよ。おっと、違うな。娘の話でしたよね。まあね、そんな毛嫌いしていた父親の勧めで地方銀行の頭取の娘を嫁にもらったのが26。見てくればっかり気にして夫をまるで下男でも見るような目で見るクズ女でしたが、なんとか子を仕込むことに成功しましたよ。そこで生まれてきたのが千秋です。名前を付けたのは私です。いえ、名前に深い意味はありません。生まれたのが10月、つまり秋で、千の幸あれと適当に付けた名前ですよ。
I like that name, though.
Yeah.
It is a very nice name. However, he is quite clearly a fan of Counter-Strike 2.
Japanese names are always so poetic.
That's what you that's what you get when you use fucking symbols instead of goddamn letters.
Mm-hmm.
でもね、不思議なものですよね。いざ生まれてみると、これがもう可愛くて仕方がないんですよ。
Lovely. How's that got to do with us? More words almost emerged from my mouth, but it bite my tongue. But now we're powerless. Our eyes fixated on the hunting shotgun and Sakashita's hands, Amane and I can do nothing but listen to his words. Apparently pleased by our submissive attitudes, Sakashita continued his monologue in a relaxed and easy tone of voice.
生まれた経緯はどうであれ、私にはとても大切な、自分の分身とも言えるほどに大切な子だったのですよ、千秋は。そんな千秋がですよ。合宿の帰りに行方不明になったと聞かされた時の私の驚きが想像できますか？もちろんすぐに探してくれと依頼しましたよ。ヘリを含め1日に70万円かかると言われた捜索費も全て私が負担しました。
Funny, the helicopters might have actually found them if your daughter didn't tell them to cut that shit out with the fucking fires.
Hmm.
ところが2週間経っても見つからない。まさかこんな場所で移動経路の予定にないこんな旧道の外れでバスごと滑落したとは誰も予想していなかったんですよ。もちろん私も思ってもみませんでしたし、ことによると某国に拉致されたのではとすら思っていたのですから、随分と的外れな場所ばかりを探していたのでしょうね。そして周りの誰もが諦めかけた頃、あなたがたった一人で生還しました。もちろん捜索隊を再編成し、すぐに救助に向かわせましたが、間に合わなかった。回収された千秋の亡骸は8つに分断されていました。まさに八つ咲きというやつです。私はね、まるで自分の身を裂かれたような思いですよ。泣きましたとも。
Something I only really realized when rewatching my videos is how much time in a video is wasted to me taking off my headphones, like throwing my hair back to try to fix it, and then put it back on.
Yeah, scratching an awkward itch or something.
Yeah.
Towards the end there, they just started killing each other for the sake of killing each other, huh?
Yeah.
収容先の病院で白いシーツをかけられた千秋にすがりつくようにして年がいもなく大声を上げて泣きました。なんて運のない子だろう。できれば代わってやりたかったと、そう思うことで私も一時は納得したのです。ところがね、娘を亡くしてからというもの、どうやら私も運に見放されてしまったようでしてね。何を仕事はもちろん家庭もうまくいかず、妻には離婚され、年老いていた私の父も他界、母も父の後を追うようにして半年後に他界しました。もしかしたら千秋がおじいちゃんとおばあちゃんを迎えに来たのかもしれません。千秋はああ見えて甘えん坊な部分がありましてね。
Wow, what a fucking surprise, considering the more spoiled they are, the more useless they tend to be in emergency situations. If I was in a situation like that, I would be shot on fucking sight. Because I can't keep my fucking mouth shut. Like, they try to ramble on with their family story, and I'm just like, no, fuck you! And instantly be shot in the head. I would not survive hostage situations. Like, I either would annoy the goddamn hostage takers to a degree that where they just let me go, or they would just shoot me.
Yeah.
There is no in-between. Actually, there is a third option where I just get really fucking close to the kidnappers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who knows? Maybe that'll happen. Fucking just start playing cards with kidnappers.
祖父も祖母も 大好きだったんですよ。それから4年、私も千秋の迎えを待ちながら頑張って生きてきたのですがね、ダメでした。何もかもがダメでした。仕事もうまくいかず、負債ばかりが増え、気がつけば幹部社員の何人かが同時に退社を申し出てきました。
I don't know, it just sounds like incompetent leadership.
そうなってしまえば、もう会社を畳むしかありません。
Huh?
Or a grieving father.
I mean, you said poor grieving father, quote unquote, is currently threatening the one girl that survived because he essentially is trying to blame her for everything that happened. This man has no fucking place for them. This man does not deserve any sympathy anymore.
Sympathy is
娘を失い、両親を亡くし、妻と社員に逃げられ、会社もなくした。私にはもう残っているのは借金ぐらいのものですよ。
Hey, that just means you had something left in life.
さて、これから何をすればいいのか、私の頭の中は真っ白ですよ。そんな時でした。とある情報筋と言いますか、娘の元同級生から私の元に連絡が入りましてね。その子が言うには、三島崎駅前のお祭りで周防天音を見かけたって言うんですよ。ああ、そういえば我々の前から逃げるようにして忽然と姿を消した周防天音さんの情報に以前私は賞金をかけたなぁなんて思い出しましてね。忘れかけていたところにふっと思い出したあなたの名前に、私はね、そう運命のようなものを感じたんですよ。こうね、真っ白だった頭の中にね、ぽっかりと浮かんできたんですよ。自分が何をしたらいいのか、何をやり残していたのか、明確にね。
That's the reason you attacked us.
はい、そうです。これは復讐と言いますか、制裁です。はい。
Retribution, are you serious? Confirming that my pulse had largely settled down while hearing out Sakashita's idiotic life story, dig my hands into the gravelly ground and pull myself to my knees.
Yuji!
It's fine, get back. Grabbing Amane's wrist with a hand coated in sticky blood, I draw her body behind mine. So trying to numb the pain of your failures by pushing the blame onto a scapegoat. All I'm really looking for is an excuse to end your miserable life. You want to die, do it alone. Don't take people who still have a future down with you.
これは驚きましたね。言うじゃないですか。銃が怖くないんですか？
Well, considering that a goddamn fresh newbie is trying to threaten him when he's goddamn drenched in the goddamn blood.
Man, little do you realize, I am the gun.
風見裕
One of
二
the
さん、
opens, shoots him in
あ
the
なた
head.
何なんです？何か妙に重厚慣れしていますね。若者特有の辛い針というわけでもなさそうですし。
Yuji just suddenly goes full fucking Helsing abridged Alucard. Bitch, I eat people!
You fail to understand. I am the gun.
Hey kids, wanna see a dead body?
Have you seen the dead body? No? Would you like to?
One of my favorite lines in New Birth series is also like, you see, I'm bisexual, so you're all in danger.
まるで何度も銃口の前に立ったことがあるみたいに妙に落ち着いている。
Fucking Yuji suddenly goes like, you ever heard of the concept of child soldiers?
Yeah, sadly.
おもちゃではないことは、撃たれたあなたが一番よく理解しているでしょう。
As if to demonstrate, he thrusts forward the muzzle of his gun, the twin barrels coated with black paint to prevent bare metal from flashing a warning to unsuspecting prey. Get out of the fucking way! Didn't even show me what he played. Glitter dully in the afternoon sun. Now that matters, Sakashita. Respectfully, sir, you're full of shit. You want to find a new purpose in life? Fine, good for you. I don't give a damn, but retribution? Who the hell do you think you are? You're just taking out your misery on others. Who died and made you a judge, jury, and executioner? Does a shotgun and a hard luck story make you into some kind of holy warrior? Because from where I'm standing, you look like a condescending, arrogant lunatic. If you had a real reason to deliver retribution, and if you were qualified to play that role, maybe I'd accept your judgment. But I'm not gonna play along with the temper tantrum of some idiot child who can only hold himself together by forcing his misery on others. Don't make me fucking laugh.
これは参りましたね。思った以上に弁の立つ方だ。
Sniffing intensifies. Smells like bitch in here.
Fucking, he just shoots Yuji in the goddamn body. Yuji just pulls out a gun, shoots him back. I have Kevlar, bitch! Always prepared! Why'd your shoulder bleed that? Have you ever seen the majority of Kevlar vests? They never protect the shoulders.
They never protect the shoulder.
They only protect the vital organs.
Yeah.
なんかもう必死ですよね。私を怒らせて、天音さんに銃口が向かないようにしているつもりですか？私が怒りに任せてあなたに向けて2発撃ち込めば、弾を込めている間に天音さんを逃がすことができるとでも？あはは、これは参った。なんという勇気だ。あなた勇者じゃないですか。かっこいいですな。
Alright. I'll permit you to have a crush on me.
ではお望み通り殺してあげましょうか。
You're free to try. As a rule of thumb, people who bother to spout off threats like "Do you want to die?" aren't about to follow through on them. It's only once you're dead they'll kill you, not waste their time giving you a sermon. What this man really wants is to see us cowering on the ground, begging for our lives. Ideally with snot running down our faces. Amane.
ほう、どうしました？天音さん。
あなたの娘を見殺しにしたのは私よ。あなたが殺したいのは私でしょ。ユージは関係ないわ。むしろ家族を失ったあなたと同じ被害者よ。
ほうほう、それで私はどうなっても構わないから。 風見さんは助けてほしいと。
Like before Amane steps in front of me, just like and he, like just after the dude finished his fucking life story, you just go like, oh, we're the fucking soppy life story contest. Well, I'm winning, by the way. Get fucking ready. Turns out people are as accustomed to killing people as me have no happy childhood.
I think both of their life stories are tragic and rare. There's no need to make it a contest.
おっしゃるわ。
おっしゃられてもね。さてさて、これはど
Everyone
うしたも
here
の
is
か。
everyone here is a
死に
victim
場所
of
が
their
欲
own
しいなら、
life.
私がここで一緒に死んであげるから。
Amane!
いいから、ユージは黙ってて。これは私とこの人の問題なのよ。
はあ、そんなにも大切ですか。この風見さんが。
Amane is not cognizant of the current situation. Can we just talk about this?
No, she's never been in a combat situation.
No, I'm not talking about combat situation. This man obviously wants to see her suffer, so her fucking response is like, you can kill me, but leave him alive. Of course he's gonna fucking shoot him first, just to see her suffer.
Yeah.
This is not saving him. This is putting him in the goddamn crosshairs.
He was already in the crosshairs. He's got a shoulder full of pellets to prove it.
Sakashita's face twisted to the habitual mocking expression of a man brought to his core. Amane realizes her mistake. Yeah, there we go. This man had no intention of letting me go from the start. He intended all along to kill me before her eyes, to force her to suffer the agony of losing someone precious to her, only then take her life. Now, it's entirely possible that I was the only target from the very beginning. He may want nothing more than to force Amane into the depths of despair, to leave her stranded in her agony, crawling pitifully through a living hell.
私はね、ずっとね、こういう機会を待っていたんですよ。誰もね、私の悲しみなんざ理解しちゃくれない。私にはね、もうこんなことぐらいしか残ってないんですよ。
You know, you're one hell of a nuisance, old man.
でしょうよ。でなければ意味がない。もっと理不尽をかみしめてくださいよ。それが私の唯一の慰めになるのですから、はい。
最低だわ。
いいですね。もっと私を憎みましょう。もうね、どんどん憎もう。そしてもっともっと苦しみましょう。よし、逃げていいですよ。
は？
だから逃げていいと言っているんですよ。もっと無様に、もっと惨めに、もがくようにして生にしがみつく姿を私に見せてください。はい、よーい、ドン。ほら、どうした？走れ！
As if stung by the sound of Sakashita's blast in the sky, Amane roughly grabs my clothes, pulls me to my feet, and drags me down the rocky path at a dead run. As I'm forcibly dragged into sudden action, my spine creaks painfully and my wounded shoulder pulses with agony. Amane! Hey, Amane! My voice doesn't reach her ears. After carrying me, she runs in sheer desperation, frantically putting every inch she possibly can between us and that man.
It's like Kazuki said.
What did you say, bud?
The name's Kazuki. No?
I still did not understand what you said. Your mic got weirdly contorted there.
I'm talking to myself.
Ah, okay. So the insanity has just set in. Okay, good.
No, it's been
Hiccups!
like-
How much alcohol did this have?
What cider were you drinking anyway?
Just regular Summersby apple cider. It's 4.5% alcohol.
Oh,
in
okay. That's gentle.
In a 50... Oh, goddammit, it used centiliters. 50 centiliter can.
500 milli then, yeah.
Yeah, 500
I'm amazed that
milliliters.
some must be still going.
Yeah, it's still going.
You just never see it advertised in Britain much these days.
You never see it advertised in Germany either, so yet a lot of shops at least have like one fucking...
Right, you never really see it
variation of
off the shelf here much.
And the thing I'm currently drinking is a 9% a mead, that is. And I've finished half of the 750 milliliter bottle. Or 0.75 liters if you want that more. And I don't really feel as drunk as a, like, quote unquote, not really drunk, more tipsy. And I feel with, like, 4 glasses or so of Jack Daniels Cola. Or Jack Daniels Fanta. Or Jackie Cola or Jackie Fanta as they call them. I actually bought a Jack Daniels for last week's recording. But alas, I finished it.
Oh,
Standard.
of course you.
Yeah, I bought it last Saturday, like, not last Saturday, the Saturday the week before, and then I finished it by Sunday. Like, I did consistently only, like, drink, like, 3 glasses at a time, usually. But then I just left
American
it.
cultural victory.
Hold on, I need to hold my head into the goddamn stream of my fan real quick. There we go.
I feel that.
But yeah, exactly, I'm even more warm now, considering, you know, the alcohol. Amane's tearful, choked voice trembles with terror. Simply fleeing from the mocking laughter behind us is the most we can do. More times than I can count, we lose our footing on the uneven ground. Half crawling over sharp rocks and thick vegetation, we run desperately, directionlessly, thinking only of gaining distance from our pursuer. Whenever we came to a momentary halt, a blast of gunfire gouged the ground only a little behind us. Frantic to keep our legs moving, we eventually lose all sense of where we're going. But as we splash across the small stream Amane and the others had used as their water source, our menacing shadow abruptly vanishes. No, he's here, hiding himself, but watching us closely. Only by intuition, but I don't think he'd give us so easily, either. At a guess, Sakshita must be a recreational hunter. The first time we met, he'd approached me with perfect stealth, then vanished like a ghost into the station crowd after our conversation concluded. Most likely he's got extensive experience hunting large wild game like deer or bears. Such animals can notice the presence of a typical human being from a good 200 meters away. Hunting such creatures requires the ability to blend perfectly into your surroundings, a skill equally applicable as to stalking other humans. This man's a serious goddamn nuisance. There's definitely something lodged in my right shoulder. Pain isn't unendurable, but I do need to get this bleeding stopped or things are gonna get ugly. That said, in our desperate flight, we left our backpacks and pouches behind at the memorial. We don't even have the most basic of medical supplies on hand. That's a problem, but at this rate, the bastards are just gonna slowly torture us to death either way. We need to fight back somehow. We have absolutely nothing in the way of weapons on hand. And having been shot, my ability to fight is dubious at best. In that case, Amane, let's split up here and escape separately. He wants to kill me in front of you. If we try to run away together, that's how this will end. Also,
I don't like this.
It might be unfair to me to put it this way, but I can operate easier alone. I want you to focus on escaping. The difference is he's a trained professional. Like this motherfucker gets it to melee range. He is dead. I'm talking about the dude with the gun, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, yes, he's a madman, but he is most likely not used to, killing people. He's only shown no hesitation with shooting either from a fucking ambush or when he was not actually intent on hitting them.
I don't know, man. The tablets in each shoulder tells me otherwise.
Of course I'm not planning to just run away. I'll play the decoy, lure him out by pretending to flee, and then turn the tables and crush him. In a fight where we have the added responsibility of protecting someone is the best strategy. Please try to understand. This is an order. Answer me, Amane. Amane! Nobody said anything about dying! They just look over. Suddenly they just hear like a small rustling of leaves. They look to the side and are panicking, and they just see Kazuki sitting leaned against the tree next to them, just like snibbling on a cracker. Hi.
Being innocuous. Like this forest spirit Kodama lying around just hello.
She has become the dryad.
She's just
She's now Treebeard's wife.
Specifically a dryad, not a hamadryad.
Yes.
Quick quiz. What's the difference? Bud responds first because I think Eagle has a higher chance of knowing what the difference is.
Dryad, Muhammad Dryad. I'm assuming it's a difference in gender, though.
Nope.
I have no idea.
Eagle?
One is I forgot it completely. I think it was something to do with the dryads are more closely related in turn from humans. Hamadryads are more related to gods.
Wrong, as well.
Oh.
The difference is the Dryads are essentially just like tree spirits, like just overall like spirits of nature, while Hamadryads are the actual like spirit, like whenever you in fiction see like the typical, oh, there's like this Dryad, but if her tree is chopped down, the Dryad dies as well. That's not Hamadryad. She is essentially just a spiritual form of the tree instead of a spirit that is related to trees.
Oh.
Hamadryad. Yeah, they are Hamadryads are actually the trees, while Dryads are more so spirits related to trees.
Okay. Very cool.
Fun fact: there was a picture discovered at Pompeii, like a fucking wall painting that depicted a Hamadryad together with Pan. Pan had his cock out.
Surprise, surprise. There is none.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the Bacchanalian gnome that they discovered. It's just Pan humping a goat.
Yeah. Overall, romances with Pan don't go well. There was like one...
Yeah.
Once, like literally the origin of the pan flute is that he was chasing a woman that he wanted to, bang. And she ran away from him and eventually managed to request a god to make her into a plant. So the god turned her into a reed. When Pan discovered this, he got depressed and made those reeds into a pan flute so he could put his lips on her. Also, not to forget, the name, the word panic also comes from Pan. Because it was believed that when someone went to a panic in the worst, it was because Pan screamed in order to scare them.
Oh.
Also, to believe that Pan is dead might be because a messenger screamed at a cliff that a certain king had died. I think it was a king, but on the opposite shore, someone didn't 100% understand what he said and thought it said that Pan had died, and that's how the story that Pan was dead spread. Also, there's a theory that Pan is essentially just an aspect of the primordial form, quote-unquote, of Dionysus. Because Dionysus, as we know, is a very, very distilled form of Dionysus. Like, Dionysus has a very oddly specific tie to nature in a lot of stories. Specifically also, like, the madness he sends people in. Anyways. I'm gonna...
今度は私がユージを守る。この命にかけてなんて言えない。私の命なんてきっと汚れていて安いから。でも私はあの時逃げ出した私の罰、あの時の汚辱は今ここで全部注いでやるんだ。こんな歪んだ世界でうつむいたまま生きていくのはもうたくさんなのよ。膝を抱えて座り込んでいた私を立ち上がらせてくれたのはあんたなんだよ、ユージ。だからこれはあなたへの罪滅ぼしじゃないけど、ごめんね、カズキ。たとえ今ここでユージと死に別れても、生まれ変わって何度でもユージを探してまたお姉ちゃんになるから。だから今回はこれ、カズキ。
Apologize, damn it! It isn't over yet. Nobody said that you could give up. Also, don't hold conversation with dead people. That is exactly why you're always dragging the past around like a ball and chain. Fools only look ahead. Crybabies only look behind. Envious children only look up, and scornful asses only look down on others. But we've all got tunnel vision. You're no different from that old idiot Sakashita. Nothing, woman! That's sad. What do I do? Should we kind of just look up the correct option?
Don't do this to me, please. I'm begging.
Eagle?
You can if you want. I actually do know the correct answer to this one.
Yeah, let's be nice and go with the correct answer.
Oh, thank fuck.
I'm not intoxicated enough to deal with a bad end.
Yeah.
Oh,
I will save here and just skip
状況
through the bad end just for the sake of goddamn gallery completion because I have fucking hives if it's not complete.
Yeah. Come out in hives if it isn't finished.
Considering what the fuck, considering what the fuck the... Talking, I keep getting distracted. Considering what the fuck, Machina's route did, I'm 100% expecting this to be a fucking case of, hey, if you run away separately, that's the bad end, because that's the fucking route that he suggested. Okay, this one doesn't have the fucking separation. Okay, hold on. Let's go back to Amina's route. Go, Emissary of the Past. That should... Blue Rouge on our way. We're split up, so we go to the good ending then. I fucking knew it! Running away separately was the fucking bad ending.
I figured so.
Of course. Your insights serve you well. Well, or at least Google search does.
I had a bad feeling during what happened with Kazuki.
I was about to give you some advice as to what choice to make, and I would have said, stay, as much in the case of a first aid situation, stay with the casualty.
Okay, you know what? I am just going to read out the bad ending because apparently there's like a lot of plot that gets revealed. They choose to split up. Amane runs off towards the place where Kazuki buried something for her and finds the missing cooler. Inside there is a lot of rotten food, a letter, and a knife. The same knife she left with Kazuki when she escaped that day, leading her to question how did it get back inside the cooler. Well, since the letter written by Kazuki seems to be written after the events, you could very much say this bad end reveals a lot more than some of the other bad ends. She reveals that the other members died from eating Hirooka, the girl that broke her legs. Her skin diseases and bacterial infections killed them, allowing Hirooka to really replay the kindness Amane showed her before. And she also asks Amane to look after Hyuji, and ends with, so long as we're both still alive, let's meet again somewhere, someday, and an instruction to use the knife to survive. Meanwhile, Yuji is in a tough spot, running with many close encounters with pellet wounds, bleeding from many shallow cuts and eventually a deep blast to his leg. After reading the note, Amane ends up choosing to go back to where Yuji and Sakashita are and stabs the psych with the back. Sakashita manages to shoot her, but Amane keeps on putting on a good fight, biting a chunk of his flesh off while he tries to remove her, hitting her in the head with the butt of his shotgun. Sakashita shoots her again and ends up killing her. Just as he is about to shoot Yuji and finish this incident, he finds Amane's cold dead hand clutched around his foot and loses even more of his sanity, passing out. Yuji uses his chance to shoot him in the head before being left to an unknown fate, getting at the very least revenge for Amane and stopping this man from causing pain to anyone else. This route ends here.
Yikes.
So yeah, run away with Amane. That's right. Can't leave her alone right now. Alright, we'll run away together. And I'm closing the wiki page before I read anything else.
りがとう。
Looking into Amane's
It'll be
face,
alright.
find myself growing strangely contemplative. It hasn't been long at all since we met, so it might feel like we've been together for many years already. That short time I've gained many priceless things from her. For that very reason, the thought that I might fail to save her from this predicament is immensely frustrating. I bite my lower lip, sudden physical rush of anger spreading hotly through my body.
ねえユージ、また血が。とりあえず怪我を。
This man, so he just goes full Asura's wrath. You know, just
Rambo.
not specifically that specific outburst of anger. I did try to copy like a very specific cry of Asura's. Asura's Wrath is a good game. Well, not good game. Good story. Watch the movie. There is no actual movie. Just watch the cutscenes is what I'm trying to say. At least I personally think so. Glanced down, following Amane's gaze. Probably because I got myself pointlessly worked up. Fresh blood begins to flow from my wounded shoulder down my right arm, dripping from my fingertips to stain the rocks below dusky red. The gunshot wound's problematic enough, but the blow to my head as I hit the ground must have been more severe than I initially realized. Without a determined effort to stay alert, the world before my eyes quickly seems to grow dim. Something salty and liquid begins to flow into my eyes. At first, I assumed the pain was causing me to sweat heavily, but I wiped it away with my hand. I discovered my forehead has begun to bleed as well. Break time's over, get running, huh? That man's got no patience. Alright then, listen up, Amane. We're up shit creek without the proverbial paddle. To be frank, there's a good chance we're both gonna die here. Ready to stare down the Grim Reaper? No, you aren't. Thanks for trying, though. Human beings can't acclimate themselves to the possibility of death as easily as that. The closer death grows, the more the mind flies to sentimentality and reminiscence. Remembering some friend from elementary school, you sniffle like a child. Just looking up at the sky at twilight, tears flow down your face. It takes 3 full days of living with death for the paralysis to set in. Yes, paralysis is the only word for it. Death begins to take on meaning on its own right. It becomes the only thing that does matter. Sometimes emotions utterly numbed, the survivors stagger into its clutches with a stupid smile on their faces. Might have been the wrong thing to ask of you. Fine, let's try this instead. I'm not a charitable enough guy to roll over and die when someone tries to kill me. I'll fight back every inch of the way, and if it comes down to it, I want the last words out of my mouth to be, not yet. If you want to call yourself my woman, you're gonna have to do the same. Since you're so prepared to die, you can do it fighting at my side. Got that?
いいよ。ユージのためなら。
Thanks. I know I'm a stubborn pain in the ass, but that's what you signed up
ユ
for.
ージ、愛してるよ。
No.
Stow it. Don't make me blush. I'll bleed out faster.
今
She
すぐ
even
キス
used
し
the
たいけ
more
ど。
sincere version of
後
it.
だよね。
I mean, blush is because of increased blood pumping, so...
Yeah.
Don't ask questions if you know the answer. Alright, let's run.
どこまでもね。
As he licked his lips, dry from the tension of the hunt, Sakashita Keiji stalked cautiously through the jungle in pursuit of his prey. Could we not use this, like, window configuration again?
Yeah.
Like, I'm used to it after Tolar 2, but still, this reminds me of the forest, and I don't like that. Incidentally,
in the
also,
forest.
Tolar 2
We are
never...
in the
Incidentally, Tolar 2 also doesn't, you know, put the name there. Oh, fuck, I just realized I have to move the goddamn webcam again. But yeah, block Sakashita's name. We don't want to see this ass.
Yeah.
But by the way, Bud, what do you think? Thoughts on and feelings on the fact that we're gonna finish a route today, and you're gonna have to pick another choice tomorrow? Not tomorrow, next week.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. I licked his lips. I already read that. Some 10 minutes ago, his fleeing targets had split up to run in different directions. After a moment's hesitation, he had decided to quietly chase Kazumi Yuji, his initial objective and the more problematic of the two. For some time, the boy had been blundering forward like a wounded beast, not even trying to conceal his flight. A crude sneer spread uncontrollably across Sakashita's face as he followed.
ち、下手くそめ。まだ鹿の方がマシな逃げ方をする。
Yeah, because deer or deer.
Deer flee at full speed the instant they realize they're being targeted, and they won't stop until there's no longer the slightest sign of their pursuer. Even afterwards, they'll stand quietly on full alert for 30 minutes to an hour, cautiously ascertaining their safety. If their hunter gets tired of waiting and makes the slightest move, the deer will instantly take flight once more. Back to square one you go. The only thing to do is wait, erase yourself, melt into the forest, and clear all emotion from your mind. In time, the deer will decide the crisis is past and begin to move normally again. Apsize instance as the best window of opportunity. Living things are never more vulnerable than in times of relief. Of course, human beings are no exception. The moment your desperate flight finally brings you to quote-unquote safety is by far the most dangerous. This Kazumi Yuji had piqued Sakashita's interest at first, but his flight had been clumsy, and for the first few minutes he'd shown no signs of movement whatsoever. Perhaps his endurance had simply reached its end.
風見雄二、少し買いかぶりすぎたか。
Well, you're
Thank God he's a moron! That morning, just after he'd called out to Kazumi Yuji for the first time, Sakashita momentarily felt his breath catch in his throat. Something about the man had set Sakashita's hairs on end. It was a similar feeling. A familiar feeling. The kind of tension he'd known when confronted by a large carnivore. Kazumi Yuji's eyes were buttonlessly, disturbingly dark. In the set of his youthful, even boyish face, Sakashita thought he'd seen the hint of a powerful, unyielding will. When those eyes flashed over him, they were very much the eyes of a beast appraising potential prey. Sakashita had seen such eyes before. His instructor at an overseas hunting school had looked at him the same way.
I want you to remember that fact. We'll come back to that sometime later.
That instructor had. You're expecting me to remember that? I forgot the fact that Kyo's brother existed in Toar too. Though to be fair, I did play the entirety of Yuzuki's route in Ginyo Haruka between finishing Kyo's route and... Actually, not Kyo's route even. I finished Kyo's route, then did Mio's route, and then I finished Mio's route, then I did the entirety of Yuzuki's route, and then I started Kana's route, and forgot that Kyo's brother existed. I haven't actually checked yet. I hope that I did not say percussive maintenance therapy in my latest recording. Not latest recording. I think I'm starting to get mad. Oh well. Become mad. Go mad. That's the word. The instructor had spent many years in the Marine Corps, participating in innumerable combat missions. A true soldier who had fought many enemies and outlived them all. Until the vision of his right eye failed, it was said that instructor had been the greatest sniper even among the Marine elite. Those blank, glittering eyes had possessed sheer power, not the hollow threat of some city thug's leering glare. The raw menace of a beast's indifferent scrutiny. His knees had trembled at every glance. Kazumi Yuji's eyes gleamed with the same light as the genuine article Sakashita had once known. When the shock passed, that fact had brought him something like joy. He'd finally found the thing he'd been searching for. His goal was revenge for his daughter. He'd been searching for some to stand in his way. His effortless revenge would be meaningless. There would be no worthy tribute, no suitable final achievement unless he was made to labor for it.
それがどうだ。もう諦めるのか？残念だよ。
With a short sigh, Sakashita took another step forward, slowly approaching his immobile target. Of course, his movement was executed with perfect stealth. He couldn't afford to be careless yet. There was still a chance this was some sort of trap. Squinting in the dim light that filtered through the canopy above, Sakashita cautiously observed the ground ahead. Scattered drops of Kazumi Yuji's blood formed a trail forward into the brush. No obvious traps, but there was no telling what the wounded beast might be capable of. Surely a man with eyes like that wouldn't give up so easily. But in retrospect, there were many things about Kazumi Yuji he didn't understand. How could a boy like that, still virtually a child, have acquired such impenetrably dark eyes? Since he was in Miyama Academy, a box made to keep the sick daughters of wealthy men discreetly out of sight, he must have some unique circumstances, but Sakashita's investigations had yielded little in the way of answers. The moment his informant had told him Suo Amane was in a relationship with a man, he had gathered all the information he could, none of it particularly revealing. Kazumi Yuji, precise personal history, unknown. After an extended period of studying overseas, he had transferred to Mihama Academy only months before as a specially invited international scholarship student. He might not even be Japanese. In fact, Sakshita's face-to-face meeting with the man had left him with just such an impression. Kazumi Yuji had spoken without the habitual slang and warped tone you'd expect from a young person these days. His words had been oddly stiff and formal, almost like a foreigner who'd learned Japanese from a textbook. And somehow the way the boy held himself simply didn't feel typically Japanese. Even his build was unusual. He clearly trained his body intensely, but in a way utterly removed from the bodybuilder's quest for inflated masses of decorative muscle. Kazumi Yuji was sinewy, as if forged for a specific purpose. Sakshita's thoughts rolled uneasily through this litany of incompatibility. Something an answer suddenly popped into his head. An agent from the north. He'd heard something about a school there that existed to produce killers. After enduring severe training from a very young age, was said those students who satisfied their standards would be sent off to foreign countries. He had no idea whether there was any truth to the story, but apparently the plot to Kazumi Yuji felt shockingly consistent. Even that strangely firm and erect bearing, so completely out of place in modern youth, would be entirely understandable as a military deportment. Come to think of it, Sakshita's father had been no different. Men who'd spent time in the military are permanently left with a different set on their face. Even their ways of thinking is transformed. No matter what the situation, they're always simultaneously considering the best and worst case scenarios. A soldier, or perhaps a civilian in military employ, a contractor. With his thoughts progressed as far as Sakshita drew to a halt. This is a trap. All of a sudden, Sakshita felt very nearly convinced of that. He stared cautiously through the trees at Kazumi Yuji's white uniform some 30 meters ahead. Sakshita Keiji was aware that he suffered from a mild case of night blindness. Though it had no effect on his daily life, recently his astigmatism had been progressing as well. When the light grew poor, he had significant difficulty making out the exact shape of distant objects. In the dim, gloomy forest, the treetops intercepted most of the sun's light. He could clearly make out the white school uniform on Kazumi Yuji's back. But it was a possibility the boy was making use of that sharp contrast to deceive him. Once the thought occurred to him, it started to look almost like the jacket had simply been draped over a suitable tree branch. God damn it. Cursing silently to himself, Sakshita lifted his shotgun to his hip once more. His anxiety and nervous tension rendered his movements somewhat sloppy, and the gun rattled in his hands as he brought it to bear. 30 meters ahead, the uniformed figure flinched in surprise and turned in his direction. Just my mind played tricks on me. Nothing but a child after all. Light exhaling in relief, Sakshita took one step forward towards the white uniform. In that instant, you just let down your guard, didn't you? His face contorted with agitation and fright. Sakshita spun around towards the voice, swinging his gun to his chest, but there was no one behind him. Wrong way. And once again, the voice was behind him. Sakshita wheeled around a second time, only to find himself facing a large flat boulder. Realized the boy had thrown his voice off the wall of stone, he ground his teeth in frustration. Swinging from side to side, his gun and knives moving as one, Sakshita searched frantically for the source of the sound, for the voice. Like I said, wrong way. The instant Sakshita screamed those words, he heard a bush rustle with movement a few meters behind. But rather than Kazumi Yuji's eyes and the muzzle of his gun found something else entirely. A long tree branch curved back like a tightly drawn bow. The branch instantly whipped forward at Sakshita's face. A split second after he squeezed his eyelids shut, the rough wooden bow struck him across both eyes. White stars exploding across his field of vision, Sakshita staggered backwards, utterly blind. Oh shit! By the time the thought ran through his mind, it was already too late. His arm was jerked behind him, an unseen hand twisted the lever of his gun sharply upward, and the break-action barrel swung open. Told you that was the wrong way, you know. The voice was beyond Sakshita again, but this time he felt warm breath on his ear. This can't be happening! His ears ringing, frantic and terrified, Sakashita tried to turn towards his enemy, but just as his head began to rotate, a hand reached out from behind and firmly seized him by the face. As the long middle finger of Kazumi Yuji's hand dug savagely into his right eye, Sakashita Keiji shrieked in agony and horror. What kind of a monster is he? The instant thought ran through Sakashita's mind, a heavy kick to the back of his knee sent him sprawling forward. His head yanked back against the momentum of his body came to rest defenselessly against Kazumi Yuji's chest, chin up and throat utterly exposed. He's going to kill me! Sakashita's hand, still holding his gun, was pinned against his back. His shoulder and elbow screamed with pain, bones audibly creaking. His weak hand, the only possible means of fighting back, was desperately clutching at Yuji's wrist in an attempt to keep his eyeball in its socket. He was completely powerless. If the man behind him stabbed his throat with a sharp branch, let alone a knife, he would simply die. Even as he screamed the words, Sakashita knew it was a laughable, hypocritical request. He knew this man was about to stop anytime soon, no matter how nicely asked. But if it distracted Kazumi Yuji from inflicting pain on him for even the briefest moments, any words would do. Sorry, not quite. The same dispassionate whisper as always. Under these circumstances, it sounded so pitiless and so cruel that Sakashita involuntarily swallowed all the saliva in his mouth. As warm liquid made its way down Sakashita's throat, his utterly exposed Adam's apple bobbed violently up and down. Close enough, though. Everyone always got so very close. What, you think I'd hesitate? Unfortunately for you, I'm used to patricide. Especially when it comes to worthless scum-sucking fathers like you. Very simple, Mr. Sakashita. You only know how to kill prey that doesn't fight back. And you picked a fight with someone who only knows how to kill human beings. Here's a tip. You want to kill a human being, you need to go in prepared for the possibility you'll be killed instead. Oh, shut the hell up already! As Sakashita collapsed to the ground, I let out a brief sigh, then crouched down to strip him of his hunting shotgun equipment. Using a nylon rope and packing tape I find in his backpack, I quickly restrain him. Yeah, somehow or other. Amane tentatively draws near, taking in the scene. Accepting my school uniform from her outstretched hand, I gingerly slip it back on. Staring down at Sakashita's limp, slightly bound body, Amane furrows her brow anxiously. Why the hell would I bother tying up a dead man? He's alive. He just hands her a shotgun. You do it. Hold on, I'm gonna try walking around my room real quick. Here's the thing, I'm also almost done with the bottle, but I've also drank the can beforehand, so there's entirely a chance that the tipsiness has gotten in the way of my motor functions at least a little bit. However, I'm still, for the most part, able to walk. I do feel tipsy. I will say that if you asked me to walk in a straight line right now, I would fucking fail, but I'm not gonna fall over.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that I'm off camera right now because the fucking the general stats I just took on and the hand gesture I did makes me look like such a fucking drag queen. I'm talking cocked hip, elbow rested against said hip, you know? I'm very happy that I was not on screen for that. Is it? You do remember who we were talking about here, right? Well, that's understandable. I have no intention of adding another layer to ominous trauma. That happens to be the main reason this man's still breathing. It's all good in retrospect since it worked out, but to be honest, it was one hell of a tight scrape.
そうだよ。私だって怖かったし痛かったし、うまくいってくれなきゃ泣くとこだよ。
Pouting, Amane holds a hand to the back of her head. We devised a plan on the run, a trap using a tree branch to momentarily rob Sakashita of his vision, and what made it possible was in fact Amane's own hair. With no weapons at hand, we had to devise our own. As we ran, those long, healthy locks quickly caught my attention. On average, her hair was a full 120 centimeters long. By tying many strands together, we could use them as a substitute trap wire. At first, Amane clapped her hands happily, saying something about finally finding a practical application of digital communication, but after having nearly 30 strands of her hair yanked out of her scalp, she was half crying from the intense pain. Don't be mad, alright, I'm grateful. You're pretty damn near perfect back there. Squatting down in the darkness on my uniform to lure Sakashita to the open, she manipulated strands of wire in her head to provide the crucial distraction with impeccable timing. There might have been 30 meters between them, but she was still at gunpoint. Her composure was nothing short of remarkable under the circumstances. Well done, Amane. The strategy couldn't have succeeded without you. You're getting an official commendation. Amane smiles as I drop my hand on her head and gently scratch her scalp, her cheeks blushing pink. Kind of feels like petting a small overgrown puppy that came running back with a tennis ball in its mouth. Funny you've mentioned puppies, considering I just started rewatching Hinata's Route in Giniro Haruka. Pop question for both of you if you remember. Why did I say that?
I do not remember.
No, don't know.
For shame on both of you. That route literally starts with the MC and Hinata finding an abandoned puppy and the MC adopting it.
Yeah, of course. Of course. That's stupid of me to forget.
And the name of that dog was?
Haru.
Yes! I actually still remembered even before they named him. Like, I was literally in the same scene where they named him. It was like, his name's gotta be Haru. And then they said, like, oh yeah, his name's Haru. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm so fucking proud of myself. Are they going to bang over the passed out body of a grieving father?
I don't recall there being any age scenes at this point.
My only response to Amane's question is the furrowed brow. I've seen this expression before. It's the third kind of face a woman can show you. Not the face of a woman you can kiss, not the face of a woman you can't kiss. So-called special case expression. Staring blankly at that expectant, almost demanding face, I suddenly feel very, very tired. Not yet. An expedition isn't over until you reach your front door. Save it for when we get back. We're going home. I'm exhausted. The man is bleeding from his shoulder, woman! This man needs his fucking shoulders to, get to the fucking hospital and have the goddamn buckshot scraped out of him. Impassively allowing Amane's disgruntled mutterings to roll over my aching back, I lead her down the mountain. Sakashita's father we leave on the spot, just like a turkey. Once my call phone finally picked up a signal, I gave JB a call and pushed everything onto her. Naturally, that shaggy-headed dork doesn't take the news well. It takes a good deal of patient effort to explain the situation, and I'm sentenced to present myself at headquarters for an oral hearing and delivery of a detailed written report. The gunshot wound on my back's painful enough, but now I've got a pain in the ass to deal with as well. 1 week after the incident, the wound on my back had mostly stopped aching. My right arm still supported by a thick sling hanging around my neck. I paid a visit to JB's office at company headquarters to offer my formal explanation. Oh hey, it's the room we barely got to see because we skipped Makina's route. Also, I can put my...
the boardroom, yeah.
I can put my cam on the other corner again. Yeah, my sincerest apologies. Guess it comes with being I am 80 what?
9029.
9029. Thank you. Might as well just resign yourself to your fate.
何を偉そうに。だいたいそんな怪我までして。電話では聞いてなかったわよ。
Think I'd save that for the formal report. What, we worried or something?
うぬぼれるんじゃないわよ。あなたの体や命はあなたのものじゃないのよ。大事な国の資産なの。
Yeah, I understand.
とも分かってないじゃないのよ。どれだけ心配したと思ってるの？
Oh, so you were worried after all.
してないわよ。私はその国防装置としてのあなたの損壊を心配してたっていうか。
Yeah, you tell yourself that, Mum.
You are so full of
Oh,
it.
me.
うるさい。ぐちゃぐちゃ言わないの。
I don't think you want to call her mom, Eagle. Unless you have a particular fetish.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, besides which, GB might have my head if I said that to her face.
Yeah, probably. Is it just me, or has JB been weaving dangerously close to Michiru territory lately? It really does come with with the hair color.
I think it does.
So what happened to that Sakshita man afterward?
あら、今朝の新聞読んでないの？
I spent the morning flirting with Amane, so unfortunately not.
坂下刑事死んだわよ。
Dead.
ええ、収容された病院の屋上から飛び降り自殺したらしいわね。新聞にはそう書いてあったし、今朝のニュース番組やワイドショーでもそう言っているわ。
Suicide.
自殺の原因は不明ってことになっているけど、おそらくは娘の死をきっかけとした転落人生を苦にといったところじゃないかしら
How
ね。
convenient. If he was the sort to kill himself, I'm pretty sure the incident we were here to discuss never would have taken place.
今回の事件？何？それ。
Listen, if you're gonna act like a dumb bimbo, I'm gonna treat you like a dumb bimbo. Okay? So choose your next words carefully, or it's the bedroom for you. I get to talk like this. I'm drunk. Just kidding. Being drunk is not an excuse to sexually harass people. Like I'm like the early was a joke. This is not a joke. I know some people that watch these videos are not entirely drinking age. Drink responsibly. I have a high tolerance for alcohol. I will likely not feel the slightest bit tipsy within like an hour or two. I get to do this because I'm conditioned to do this. My blood compels me. My blood is created to purify alcohol. Yours is not. Drink responsibly. Stop drinking once you feel tipsy.
Police officers are tyrants of the state meant to stop us from drinking and driving.
Listen, no, listen, driving drunk
Don't
is
let them
only
stop
illegal
you.
above a certain amount of alcohol in your blood.
It is your moral obligation to drive drunk.
You covered it up.
事件なんて起きてもいないし、坂下氏は人生を儚んでの自殺。それが全てよ。
Did you give him a push?
いやーねー、人聞きの悪い。
When your voice gets all high pitched like that, there's always something ugly going on behind the scenes.
一応ね、他にも思いついたんだけどね。
Something even worse, I'm sure. No need to elaborate.
はい、お利口さん。
Oh boy. Another line just popped into my
Crazy
head.
more.
Another line just popped into my head. Treat me like a dog and I'm gonna treat you like a bitch in heat.
I want her to trade.
Caesar is not here, you disloyal animal.
God, I'm terrible today.
Yeah.
We're all terrible.
I'm pretty sure I already talked about my response to Acheron. Did I? I forget.
Yes, I think so.
I mean, like, on recording.
I have no idea.
I think I did. Who cares? Probably in this part as well, but my memory is bad enough even when not drunk to where I would have forgotten that already. And you say I'm full of myself. Can I leave now?
結構よ。なに？そんなにあまねちゃんが恋しいの？
Looking at your hair too long makes my eyes sting.
金髪は嫌いじゃないくせに。
Depends on the woman that's growing on. Alright then, I'll be going.
ユージ、ちょっと待って。
You need something else?
前にあなたが言ってた予備社員の件だけど、条件付きで OK が出たわよ。
Conditional, is it?
そう、条件。今のままではダメだけれど、昇級試験を受けて合格すれば OK よ。
Head office examination or branch office? Japanese branch examinations.
両方。いつまでも特務伍長ではいられないでしょ。少尉になったら予備士官に登録してあげる。
You're telling me to go back to school yet again?
自宅から通えるように手配はしてあげるわよ。
What a pain in the ass.
あなたの強制任期はまだ1年半もあるわ。ゆっくり考えなさいな。
My current rank is 5th from the bottom of the table, and she's telling me to jump another 5. If it was just HQ's exams, it'd be absurd enough, but demanding I also pass the Japanese tests for every rank is downright sadistic. If I keep working the way I am now, it'll take a decade to serious effort to hit that rank. Even if I renew my contract and accept the training course, I can't see it ending in less than 7 years. Talk about delayed gratification. So that's how it is.
つまり、なんだろう、専門の学校に通うわけ？
Probably, yeah.
じゃあ、転校しちゃうの？
Nah, I'd be starting the new school in 1.5 years. In other words, after my graduation.
あ、すぐじゃないんだ。
That's right. After graduating from here, I'll be going to a new school for about 7 years, at a guess. I mind holding off on the marriage until after that? Well, of course you'd mind. Yeah, dumb question.
ユージが待ってろって言うなら待つよ。
God, I can't fucking wait for the recording to end so I can take off my goddamn shirt. No. Actually, something that I realized today as I was eating Burger King, by the way. Again, the chicken wings were like really fucking spicy for some reason. Funnily enough, my sister has more weeb shirts than I do, even though I'm the bigger weeb. Just because, like, the single actual weeb shirt that I have is like the Aokana shirt with the fucking like the Shamisen playing skeleton, which you can look at that and not immediately know that it's weeby. Like, it's that kind of tasteful design. While my little sister just straight up has a shirt that says Tokyo, the same word in Japanese, with an anime character next to it. She doesn't watch anime. She does like to draw, however, and I'm very fucking worried because if she ever gets to notice that Twitter exists, there is a high chance that porn commissions will come in.
Have her be your thumbnail artist.
I've already told my little sister, like, don't do Twitter. You're not gonna be happy there.
Yeah. It is a silly place.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, no, that won't be necessary. I'll talk it over with the higher-ups. There are restrictions on marriage as well, but once my field term is over, things should ease up slightly. I doubt it'll be a problem.
本当？じゃあ、ユージがここを卒業したら結婚してくれるの？
Got that backwards, Amane. I'm the one asking you. Please marry me.
わかった。する。結婚する。
Well, it's gonna be a little while yet, but thanks. I'll make this work. We'll make this work. I mean.
任せて。じゃあ、私はユージより1年早く卒業するから、その間に自分の仕事見つけておくよ。
Good job. Why?
だってユージは卒業してもまた学生になるんでしょ？だったら私が稼いで食べさせてあげる。
I'm out of bills. I do, however, have Pringles.
Like I did a couple of weeks ago.
Like I bought them along with the fucking mead. Like, I literally placed, like, the meatball on the counter and asked them about the Suntory's double lemon, which, by the way, I'm very fucking sad because that was just, like, a temporary thing that headquarters sent them to, like, oh, just put it up and sell it. So it's not actual stock, you know? And, like, after I asked that, and he said no, and I was like, oh, god damn it. Well, he went to scan the bottle. Anything else? Oh, wait, hold on. I just went off to the side, grabbed the pickle can, sub to go along with it. And here I am, not having eaten it with it. I'm sorry, salesman. I lied to you. I doubt he's watching this. I'm still mad. I went to that drink kiosk while my mother was buying groceries at another store. And I was like, you know what? While you buy groceries here, I'm just gonna go to the drink kiosk. Like, it's a bit of a walk, but it's like essentially fucking nothing. my mother acted all surprised, like, oh, you're gonna walk there? Oh, fucking surprised. I was like, I've walked from the doctor's office here all the way to over there. I don't want to fucking hear any complaints. So I started walking. At the moment I started walking, it started raining. Like, picture fucking perfect. Going to scream. Anyway. Well, even a student, I'll be earning 106,600 yen monthly stipend with a bonus twice a year. From what JB tells me, the odd office covers a certain percentage of housing costs and other living expenses, including the additional allowance for married employees.
じゃあ、私は専業主婦になればいいのかな?
If you want to work, I won't stop you. Shouldn't really be necessary, though.
じゃあ、子育てに専念できるね。赤ちゃんの靴下を編む練習でも始めようかな。
Think you're jumping the gun a bit on that one? Jumping the gun a bit. Still ways off. Those thoughts prove surprisingly transient. Time always passes more quickly than you expect. All too quickly, half a year had passed, and Amane graduated from Mihama Academy. That said, she immediately rented an apartment within walking distance of the school, so I didn't exactly have to go out of my way to see her. In fact, she made a routine of coming to the student dorm every morning, making breakfast for me and Makina, and passing us our lunch boxes. In evening, we'd eat at Amane's apartment. This pattern held for maybe a month or so. Soon enough, Makina grew irritated with the effort of walking between the dorms and Amane's building. After renting the room next door, she presented the school with an application demanding special permission to commute under the pretense of ensuring a secure living environment. And somehow she forced Chizuru to sign off on it. Next door neighbors might not sound too bad, but in reality, Makina was soon virtually squatting in Namane's room again, just as they'd been in the dorm together. Another year after that, this time it was my turn to graduate. As planned for some time now, I entered a special technical school specified by headquarters. In addition to the monthly written exams, my new student life involved irregular, sometimes completely unannounced, physical fitness tests, often amounting to something like a very rigorous and painful game of musical chairs. What? At first I was living in Amane's room and commuting, but the daily travel on top of the grueling training proved too much. I rented a room near my new school campus and returned to Amane on the weekends, a pattern that held for some time. But after about 2 years of this temporary solution, Makina finally chirped, "When are you gonna get married already?" Startled, Amane and I looked into each other's faces, having reached a mutual conclusion that it was in fact about time we got around to that. We were married soon thereafter, finally fulfilling our promise to each other. And not too long ago, 5 years after my graduation from Miyama, after various trials and tribulations, I cleared the last of my required exams, while ahead of schedule by virtue of my superb grades. At long last, I entered permanent reserves, regaining a degree of freedom. From my day job, I chose to become a teacher at my alma mater, Mihama Academy. Hey, need a gym teacher or something? It'd been years since we talked about this, and I'd asked Taff as a joke, but here I am, ready to teach a new crop of Mihama students their English. Life works in mysterious ways, though, as they say. Why is Makina still attending the school 5 years later?
Kept flunking.
She flunked a lot!
Makina gonna Maki.
Yeah, life is just full of mysteries. For example, why is Makina still a student here? That's probably number 1 on my list at the moment. Okay. Why is she still in Mihama? Well, let's see the reason. Dota 2. Okay.
Dota 2.
Yeah.
She fell down the MOBA rabbit hole.
She kept failing because she kept on playing Dota 2 instead.
Actually, hold on. Like, let's ask ChatGPT. Who does she main?
Wow.
Oh god, I had to fucking just leave me sign the fuck in. I will occasionally just log into ChatGPT and be like, I fucking need names for some. Tell me something. Funny enough, the 3 things I've used my YouTube account for are unknown team requested, ability build for Dota, and create Utavarum Monomin. What's Machina's full name again? I forget. Actually, I could probably check in the sound menu. Never mind. So it was a pipe dream. Irisu. Right. Which character from the game Dota 2 would Machina Irisu from the Fruit of Grisaia main if she played the game? Not played the game. I think Machina Irisu from the Fruits of Grisaia. If Machina Irisu from the Fruits of Grisaia were to play Dota 2, she might main a character that aligns with her personality traits and background. Machina is depicted as a childlike, energetic, and somewhat mischievous character with a complex and troubled past. She also has a strong attachment to certain individuals and a desire for protection and security. Actually, very accurate. Given these aspects, here are a few Dota 2 characters that you might gravitate towards. Tinker. Oh no! Why is the first one Tinker? Why is ChatGPT that you would fucking play Stinker? Tinker is a highly intelligent and strategic hero who requires precise control and timing. Machina's ingenuity and resourcefulness would align well with Tinker's playstyle, which involves a lot of micromanagement and strategic thinking. No! He just fucking uses his goddamn busted ult to continuously... Actually, no, never mind. The ult no longer refreshes cooldowns on items. Never mind. Io, Wisp. Io is a support hero known for its ability to relocate allies and provide sustain through healing and mana regeneration. Machina's strong attachment to people who she cares about and her desire to protect them would make Io a fitting choice. Actually, I can see that. Puck. Puck is a playful and elusive hero with a mischievous nature, matching Machina's energetic and childlike personality. Puck's ability to phase shift and avoid danger would suit Machina's quick and reactive nature. Meepo! Meepo is a unique hero that requires controlling multiple units simultaneously, reflecting Machina's chaotic and multifaceted characters. The complexity and high skill ceiling of Meepo might appeal to her adventurous spirit. And lastly, Techies. Known for their explosive and unconventional playstyle, Techies would suit Machina's mischievous and unpredictable nature. The hero's ability to lay traps and create chaos on the battlefield aligns with her tendency to be playful and disruptive. I can entirely see Machina playing Techies. Specifically Techies when it just came out. What if I gave them other options? Suddenly it gives me Enchantress, Crystal Maiden, Lina, Phoenix, and Oracle. And Mirana, actually. And Rubik, actually. I don't see any of those. Actually, no, I'm curious. I'm curious about Amane. What would Amane pick? I did only say what about Amane, which hero would she pick, and he did correctly pick out Amane Suol. Funny enough. It's characterized by a nurturing, caring, and protective nature. She often takes on a motherly role, providing support and care for those around her. Given her background and personality, there are some noted 2 heroes that Amane might choose to main. Trained Protector. Trained Protector is a hero who embodies nature and protection with abilities that can heal allies and protect structures. Trained supportive and defensive playstyle aligns well with Amane's nurturing and protective personality. Omni-Knight. Omni-Knight is a strong support hero with healing and defensive spells that can protect and sustain his team. His ability to provide powerful heals and damage mitigation resonates with Amane's role as a caregiver. Dazzle. Dazzle is a versatile support hero known for his healing and protective abilities. His ability to save allies from death with Shallow Grave and provide sustained healing with Shadow Wave would suit Amane's caring and supportive nature. Abaddon. Abaddon is a durable hero who can shield allies and himself from damage while providing healing over time. His blend of offensive and defense makes a good fit for Amane's protective instincts and desire to keep her friends safe. Chen. Chen is a supportive hero who can control neutral creeps and provide strong healing and global assistance with the ultimate hand of God. Chen's ability to command an army and support his teams align with Amane's nurturing and leadership qualities. Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor is a support hero with strong healing and damage over time abilities. His ability to sustain his team through healing, provide crowd control with his stuns, would appeal to Amane's supportive and strategic nature. Also, Io for her is a support hero known for its ability to tether to allies, providing them with healing, mana regeneration. Io's ultimate ability to relocate allies to safety or engage in fights from afar fits Amane's role as a guardian and protector and keeper of the light. Oh, she plays fucking Cottle. Keeper of the Light. Cottle is a support hero with abilities that can heal allies and control the battlefield with crowd control and mana regeneration. His ability to provide vision and sustain his team would resonate with Amane's desire to support and guide her friends. Should I just keep this open and ask for like the characters that we go into the routes of every time? Or should I just do all of them now?
Let's save it for their routes, so we can get a proper view of them.
Alright, I'm gonna fucking bookmark this. Just leave it open.
Yeah.
あれ知らなかったのあの子、今年で8年生だよ。でも、来年は留年できないから、いよいよ卒業かな
So she really has been repeating over and fucking over until she literally cannot repeat again. From what Amane tells me, Makina repeated her grades 7 times in a row, ending up something like a super freshman. But all rice her age should be a serious problem, but Makina's so childish to begin with. Even now it feels like her appearance has just caught up with the other girls.
あれ、ボバ太郎の音だね。マキナ帰ってきたかな
Bobataro? She poached Bobataro off you.
あはまあね。私はもう乗らないし、マキナに免許取ったらあげるって言ったら、本当に免許取ってきちゃったんだもの。ただいまー、あまねー。今日のおやつなに？おかえり、マキナ。外から帰ったらまずは手を洗いなさい。おやつはそれからよ。
There's a reason Amane stopped riding her bike. Specifically because she's given birth to a child. Naturally, I had a hand in this.
Don't tell him that.
Short-haired Makina is mildly cursed, I feel.
Oh, she couldn't be in Small Twin Tails forever.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
Does somewhat fit her.
Yeah.
It does have a very energetic vibe. However, put the child down. I do not trust you with a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, I trust her. It'll be fine.
こらこら、嘘を教えるな嘘を。っていうかあんた、落とさないでよ。大丈夫だってば。私だって昔の私とは違うのよさ。
I do not believe you for a second.
そう言いつつ、この前その子を肩車してて、天井の鴨居に頭をぶつけたの誰よ。
Well, children have hard
そう
heads.
か、ごめんな。でも女の子はちっとぐらい頭悪い方がモテるんだぜ。
What's the fucking meme again? But
Fascinating.
aren't girls the cutest when they're a little retarded? That's the meme, I think.
Yeah.
A new machina, a partially living proof of that.
Don't be ridiculous. Women all about cooking. As long as she can make a decent meal, she won't have any trouble finding a man to bring back the bacon.
大丈夫なのよさ。だってアマネーの子なのよ。絶対お料理の上手な子に育つのよ。ね
I feel terrible right now. Do you wanna know why? I just looked over at Amane, and my first thought is, that nose could pop a balloon.
I'm still looking at El Babo.
3ヶ月だよ。どんな子になるかなんてわからないわよ。
You'll be a beauty!
アマネーのエロ遺伝子が組み込まれているのよ。きっとどうしようもないスケベ女に育つのよさね。お兄ちゃん、もしこの子が突然ろくでもない男を連れてきて、この人と結婚するって言い出したらどうする？
Murder. The hell are you talking about? There's only one thing to do. Rip off my shirt and yell, Alright! Bring it on, punk!
それじゃうちのお父さんと同じじゃん。
Right, I beat the living hell out of your dad. Fair and square. Bride is something you win, not something you're given. He actually just fucking threw down with her dad?
Yeah, wait till you see the Amane's After-Route.
Yeah, that's gonna be fucking fun. Like we're currently in the part of the story that I am not aware of. Like that's where the fun part comes in, when we get to the portions that the anime didn't cover.
おかげでお父さん、腰を悪くして3日ぐらいお店休んだんだよ。
He fucking made him paraplegic for 3 months. He is the one who ignored your mother's approval and started shouting, if you want Amane, you'll have to take her over my dead body. Sometimes words just aren't enough.
ほんじゃ、もしこの娘を嫁にもらいに来たアホがいたらぶっ飛ばすの？
Arab
相手がアラ
orgy.
ブの石油王でも？
I know that that's probably means like something along the lines of oil baron, but why are we suddenly bringing the Legend of Zelda into this?
Bullshit, yeah.
I don't care what he does for a job as long as you protect my daughter no matter what. If you call yourself a man that defends your woman with your life, if you can't promise me that, go to hell home. Nah, if a spineless idiot like that has the nerve to even show up, I'll friggin' kill him for real.
殺すなよ。っていうか、あんたに勝てる男なんているの？それに、その子が好きだって言うなら、それでいいじゃない。
You're already turning into the classic overindulgent mother, you know that. But I guess you do have a point this time. I won't completely ignore my daughter's opinion on the matter. If she asks for my blessing, I'd ask her a question right back. Would you throw away your life for this man? And after a day passes, her opinion still hasn't changed. I guess I might be able to sorrowfully approve of the marriage.
なんだその曖
Possibly.
昧な後
Whoops.
半。
Possibly. Probably. Possibly. Maybe. Huh? What's so funny?
なんか幸せだなってさ。ただそう思っただけ。
I see.
そう、すっごく幸せ。あんなことがあった私がこんなに幸せでいいんだろうか。そんな不安に時々襲われる。それでもこの人と一緒なら、ユージと一緒なら、きっと
I don't know what's happening to me. I need to put this thing down.
きっといつか私の罪や罰が許される日が来る。そんな予感がするの。やがて牧野の学園を卒業し、私たちの部屋から出ていくことになった。卒業後はドイツにある美術の学校に留学するとのことで、当分日本へは帰ってこないらしい。
She managed to do what Hitler couldn't.
Oh,
I'm terrible. I also realized that I need to move my fucking webcam to the other goddamn side again. Why are you doing this to me? Amane. Why? I ask you.
いたらいたでうるさい子だけれど、いざいなくなると、なんだか自分の娘が出て行ったみたいで少し寂しい。
Like I should probably go back up and show the things that were said ever since then. So people have a chance of reading it if it was covering. There we go.
美浜で仕事をしながら予備社員の仕事を続けていたユージもここ最近はめったに呼び出されなくなり年に数日間の教官としての仕事をするだけになっていた。
I see what you're doing, game. I see what you're doing with the soundtrack. You're trying to fucking appeal to me with the violin. I'm not this easy. This is overall something I've noticed. Like, my favorite soundtracks at the ends always tend to be like violin and piano mixes. Like the streams in future, the small footsteps, and thaw until a certain point. Thawing. Like it's almost always the piano ones. I just tend to like more emotional soundtracks. It's just a pattern.
そんな予備社員の仕事もあと1年もすれば引退の時期らしい。結婚して20年。結局私はこの年になるまでユージがどこの会社で何の仕事をしていたのかを知らないでいる。別に知りたいとも思わないし、ユージは私との約束通りいつも無事に帰ってきてくれた。だったらそれでいい。それ以上は贅沢というものだ。ただユージは夜中に苦しげな声を上げて目を覚ますことがたびたびあって、それだけが少し気がかりだった。声をかければ何でもないとだけ答えるユージに無力感だけが残った。
Honestly, in those moments, it's just a case of...
気がつけばもう40年。
Oh, Jesus Christ, she's old. I was about to say that in those situations, she's just like... The part of the problem is that you still don't know about the true nature of his job. Just ask him about it. If you ask about it, he will tell you, and that will be a fucking weight lifted off his shoulders.
私ももうすっかりおばあちゃんだけれど、相変わらずユージと共に穏やかな老後というものをそれなりに満喫している。年とともにいろいろなものが穏やかになってきたのだろう。時間の流れさえ穏やかに感じられるようになり、そしてユージは夜中に苦しげな声を上げて何度も目を覚ますことがなくなった。隣の布団で穏やかな顔で眠るユージを見て、ああ、この人の戦争はやっと終わったのだと。やっと地獄から帰ってくることができたのだと安心もした。そんな穏やかで静かな日々から半年後、ユージの癌が見つかった。
Excuse me, what?
痛くても苦しくても我慢してしまうユージのこと。発見した時にはすでに手遅れで、余命は5ヶ月と診断された。
It says another 5 months. However, this amount of stories where I heard why doctors would give people like 5 months or a year to fucking live, and they're like still alive 10 years later is staggering.
それでも私たちの生活に大きな変化はなかった。
You just over like, if you think I'll let a cancer do me and you're goddamn insane! I'll fucking beat the shit out of that cancer dude, whoever he is! Fucking bring him here! I'll fucking throw down!
Yeah, I'm going to eliminate all cancers and then work on the Leos next.
I'll fucking show him what a former hitman does! Wait, hitman? What does All Might say? What did All Might just say?
当たり前に生き、当たり前の毎日を送り、また当たり前の今日が来る。余命5ヶ月と診断されていたユージはまるで計算していたかのように5ヶ月目の日曜日の朝、私たち家族に見取られてユージも死んで、ただ一人残された私はユージが死に際に残した「まだお前の罰は終わらないぞ」との言葉を守り続け。
Funny enough, if we were to save now, we would see that the name of this chapter is Eternal Punishment. Persona reference. I'm curious how many people actually fucking understand that. If that like out of the people that have played Persona, I'm curious how many people actually fucking understand this reference, because the amount of people that have played like literally just Persona 5, 4, and maybe 3 now that that fucking re-release came out is that yet don't know about Persona 1 or 2 is staggering. Like Persona 2 has it's 2 games. Like the first game is Persona 2 Innocent Sin, and the second game is Persona 2 Eternal Punishment. And people do not know about those two. I mean, more people have known about those two as Persona grew more popular, and people that are in the niche have been trying to shove it into people's faces. But Atlas sure ain't fucking acknowledging those two.
その後もありがとうを言い続ける余生を送る。ユージを失った生活も思ったほど寂しくはなかった。目を閉じればユージと過ごした思い出が走馬灯のようにいくつも思い出すことができる。ユージとは何度も喧嘩はしたけれど、思い返せば全てが楽しい思い出で、出した食事に一度も文句を言われたことがないのが私の誇りだった。きっと私ももう長くはないだろう。もう思い残すこともあまりないけれど、いつでもまたすぐに会えると思えば、少しぐらいは待たせても構わないだろう。私は相変わらずそういうところで少しだけユージには意地悪なのだ。ユージが死んで5年目の夏、数えてみればあの人と出会ってから50回目の夏になる。東京で暮らす娘夫婦が一番下の子を連れて帰省した。久しぶりに見た孫の顔は幼い頃の私によく似ているような気がする。この子が生まれた時、ユージもなんだかお前に似ているな。
Like this isn't this is not that depressing, even though Yuji's already dead, because like, well, he's an old man. Death was gonna catch up to him eventually, and you know, that's just how things happen.
きっと今年が最後の夏になる。そんな予感がしていた私は、義理の息子が運転する車の後部座席に乗って夏休みの旅行に出かけた。向かった先は、私が事故に遭って生き残った樹海が見下ろせる公園。私の唯一の心残りといえば、風見和樹が私のために残したあの荷物だけだった。ここはあの頃とあまり変わらない。もうここを訪れる人もあまりいないのだろう。現場へと続く山道はすっかりと荒れ果て、老いた私の足腰ではとてもではないけれど、入山を諦めた私は日の当たる場所に置かれたバス停のベンチに腰掛け、現場に向かって手を合わせる。目を閉じればまだあの頃のバスケ部の仲間たちの顔を思い出す。思い出す顔の一つ一つは今でも苦痛に歪み、怒りや悲しみをたたえている。みんなごめんなさい。そしてありがとう。こんなに長生きしてしまった私はいつになったら許されるのだろう。 私に罰を与えてくれる有事はいないというのに。ねえ、和樹。私どうしよう。私一人じゃ答えが出せないよ。
You know, considering Kazuki, I would not be surprised if she literally just showed up looking the same way she did when she left the fucking forest for the first time. Just standing
Complete
there
with
like,
sling, yeah.
just completely there over here, like completely fine, just still, like, completely young as she was the day she left her. Like, don't ask me. You need to think for yourself, girl. You may be a grandma now, but I'm still the one that's like more mature in my fucking brain, apparently. Don't fucking cling to me.
ねえ、おばあちゃん。
Oh, 100% her granddaughter looks like her.
Yep.
なーに？私のおじいちゃんってどんな人だったの？
We could 100% use this thumbnail and just trick people into thinking this is a goddamn like fucking flashback or something. Like, if you use this, people would not question for like people that didn't know would not question for a second that that was just like a flashback to Amane's childhood or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks something like that.
そっか。おじいちゃんが死んだ時、あんたはまだ小さかったからね。でもどうして急に？なんかね、おばあちゃんが元気ないみたいだから、おじいちゃんの話をしてきなさいってママが言ったの。相変わらずだね、あの子も。変に気が回って不器用に優しいところは、あの子はおじいちゃんに似たのかもしれないね。おじいちゃんは優しい人だった？うん、そうね。そしてとても臆病で勇敢な人だった。臆病で勇敢？臆病というよりは何事にも慎重で何でもよく考えて行動する人だった。そしてどんなに困難な状況であっても誰もが諦めてしまうようなことに直面しようともなんくそと立ち上がる勇気を持っていた人だったわね。
Oops, accidentally skipped what she was saying.
覚えてないあんたに言ってもピンとこないか。時々むちゃくちゃを言うけど優しいおじいちゃんだったのは覚えてるよ。そっか。おじいちゃんが死んじゃって寂しい？どうだろうね。実はそれほどでもないけれど、やっぱりどこかで寂しいと思っているのかもね。でもきっと私にももうすぐお迎えが来て、またおじいちゃんに会えるよ。若い頃は死ぬのがあんなに怖かったのに、今はあんまり怖くないしね。おばあちゃんは死ぬの怖くないの？怖くはないけれど少し寂しいかな。寂しいって何が？そうね、私はきっと地獄へ行くんじゃないかなって。そこには多分知り合いはいなくて、だからそれが少し寂しい。
If she's going now, Yuji is already fucking waiting for her down there. Let's be honest with ourselves.
いや、
それは大丈夫じゃないかな。5年間悪いことをしなかったら天国へ行けるんだって前におじいちゃんが言ってたよ。そんな運転免許じゃあるまいし。っていうかあんたそれ何を手に持ってるの？あ、これお守りだよ。昔ね、おじいちゃんの病院にお見舞いに行った時にもらったの。これね、どんな危機的状況でもこれを持っていれば必ず守ってくれるんだって。
She's supposed to be their granddaughter, yet her speech patterns entirely
Machina's
come after
flipping off
Machina.
at her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
すっげえ効果あ
Sounds
るから
very
お前に
good.
やるってあの人まだそんなもの持ってたんだ。懐かしくもその小さな犬のぬいぐるみは昔まだ私たちが学生だった頃あの人に持たせたものだ。ところどころがほつれてはいても何度も修繕した跡がある。こんな子供じみたお守りをずっと大事にしてくれていたのかと思うと涙が出そうになる。さすがにもうボロボロだね。なんだか嫌な凄みが出てる感じ。
だから効き目がありそうなんじゃない？おじいちゃんはこのワンちゃんに何度も命を救われたって言ってたよ。
そんな話私には一度もしてくれなかったけどな。
しまった、恥ずかしいからおばあちゃんには黙ってろって言われたの忘れてた。
あの人らしいというかなんというか。
そうだ、おばあちゃんにワンちゃんのお礼するのも忘れてた。
お礼？
おじいちゃんがね、幸運の犬ころをやるからおばあちゃんにお礼をしろって言っててね。
The whelp of fortune.
ちょっと待ってね。確かね、いつか渡そうと思ってお財布の中に入れておいたはずなんだけど。
なんだろう、何をくれるの？
あった、はいこれ、おばあちゃんにあげる。
それは？
これはね、天国行きのチケット。
天国？
そう、これさえあれば天国行き間違いなし。
Very wholesome, but at the same time, it can be interpreted as like, go
Morbid,
die! Go there, right now! Go ahead!
Oh.
ありがとう。
She just immediately keels over dead next to her granddaughter.
おそらくは落書き帳の切れ端だろう。長方形の画用紙にはクレヨンでお花や動物の絵が描かれ、年を取って老眼がだいぶ進行した私の目にもそこにははっきりと天国行きと書かれているのが見て取れた。私は天国へ行ってもいいのかな。
どうして行ったらいけないの？おじいちゃんも待ってるよ。
Is he though?
Debatable.
Is he though, Suzume?
そうなんだけどね。
大丈夫、きっともうみんな許してくれるよ。だっておばあちゃんはいい人だもの。
そうかな。
そうだよ、私おばあちゃんがいてくれて嬉しいもんね。おばあちゃん、私のおばあちゃんでいてくれてありがとうね。
その言葉が嬉しくて、上手にありがとうが言える子に育ってくれたことが嬉しくて、こんな私にありがとうと言ってくれる存在が嬉しくて、私は涙が止まらなくなった。ありがとう。私も嬉しい。ありがとう。そしてユージもありがとう。私生きていて本当によかった。今私は救われたような気がします。いろいろなことがありました。いろいろなことに悩んだり、自分で自分を苦しめたりもして、決して穏やかだったとは言えない人生だったけれど、それでも決して悪い人生ではなかったなと思えるのは、きっとあなたが私と一緒にいてくれたからだと今改めてそう思うのです。だからここ 心からありがとうとあなたに言いたくて、今私もそちらへ参ります。そうしたらまたいじめてくれるねえ、ゆうじ。
おばあちゃん、どうしたの？泣いてるの？なんだ、おばあちゃん笑ってるのね。よかったね、おばあちゃん。おばあちゃん、寝ちゃったの？
Oh,
I was joking. Did you literally just fucking pass away next to her granddaughter? That's gonna fucking be God. That's gonna cause a trauma later down the line.
oh, God.
You know, I was gonna say, like, very wholesome, but deducted points because of personal bias, since I don't like to be reminded that death exists. But then this happened, and also deducted points because she gave her granddaughter a trauma.
孫の声が少しずつ遠くなる。
Yeah, she's gonna go to therapy about this later down the line.
見上げた青い空には白い雲、まるで手が届きそうなその雲の隙間に懐かしい美山の制服を着たあの人があの頃の若い姿のまま私を待ってくれていた。その姿に年がいもなく大声を上げて泣きそうになる私を見て、あまねと呼ぶあの人の声に握り返したあの人の手はあの頃のままとても温かい手をしていた。
Oh man, I don't like this ending credits. This after credit, this like ending scene. It makes me depressed and reminds me of my own mortality.
それがとても嬉しくて、その手を取った瞬間、私はこれで全てが許されたのだとはっきりと。
Kind of reminds me of Sir Alec Guinness for some reason.
About what?
Sir Alec Guinness taking forever to die in Bridge Over the River Kwai. Anyway,
Oh, there is unique ending
end
credits
credits.
for everyone.
yeah. And their own tunes too.
Well, we're not gonna watch all these, so can't skip these. No, no! Get me out of here! I don't want to be back here! No! You know what? Actually, you guys have fun with the ending credits. I'm gonna go take a piss real quick. Enjoy!
And so, ladies and gentlemen, that was Amane-Route. We trust you have enjoyed yourselves. Well, although that might be a bit of a push. Especially with the kids. And also at the same time, might I point out, just be grateful that we have the censored version because we get full-on action in the uncensored version. Anyway, I'll shut up and let you enjoy the tune. One thing about the ending tunes I'll always appreciate is the fact that they tried to make the lead vocalist's voice match almost to that of the voice actress of the star on the actual route.
Like it's her second.
Yeah, they did that with all of them. Or tried to, with varying degrees of success.
That's good.
Unlike Naruto and Naruto 2, whereby they actually got the voice cast to do the singing. Which is very talented of them.
I'm gonna be depressed for like 2 weeks again, man.
Me personally, yeah, no, there are some people who had not a dry eye in the house after the end of these credits, but to be honest with you, I am not, because I'm a jaded old twat.
I guess I'm just sensitive.
I'm just, I am the guy with the hangman's noose around his neck, only saying to them, first time?
What a beautiful, beautiful piece of art.
Yeah. And out of the woodlands we come. Avoiding the Vietnam helicopters.
Holy shit, did I perfectly come back as the ending credits were ending?
Just about.
Holy shit, my
Give it
business
a
are
second.
impeccably timed.
There's one last CG that you might like. Ta-da!
Nah, that's just made me depressed because they're dead.
They're in a better place now.
Somewhere
Also,
far from here.
it mildly reminds me of like David. Was it David? David touched by God. That painting? I think it was David. I don't remember.
Oh, on the Sistine Chapel.
Yeah. Like the fingertips touching, you know.
Yeah, God giveth knowledge to Adam. Yeah.
グリサイアの果実
That's
So
what it
yeah,
reminds me
that
of.
was Amane-Route.
Someone drawn that before? Someone probably drew that before. Let's be honest.
Probably.
Who knows?
I mean, you'll see a million and one parodies for that.
We're done with suffering for now, at least.
Yeah.
The suffering never ends.
Well, the suffering of Amane, at least. Now we've got to get through the rest of them.
Yep. Oh, there's still a little bit left here. Hold on. Oh, never mind. That's no. Yeah, that's the old one. I'm not gonna touch that. Amane-Route done. Should we do the step for the next route now, or should we leave that to next time? Probably leave that to next time.
Yeah, let's do that.
Hope you guys enjoyed this one. See you next time. Bye.
Sayonara, folks.
Also, by the way, I am happy to inform I literally do not feel tipsy anymore. My alcohol, like, deconstruction process is fucking built different.
Yeah.
Bye.